bring it in.
Morning.
This is the coffee edition.
This is the too early edition.
This is the Mill Podcast coffee edition.
This is the we just fucking woke up edition.
Exactly.
Yeah. Normally we film this.
Well, me and him just woke up. You're like,
Right.
My hair's still
you're like,
soaking wet.
I'm 7 hours into my day right now.
Normally we film this like 8 or 9 o'clock and
You're disgusting.
in the evening, and now it's
12 hours.
8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
How
So-
do you do, my friend? How do you do?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I got a new toy.
It's fancy smancy.
Look at this.
What happened to your other one?
I sold the other one a long time ago.
Why did you sell
This is
it?
the
You're
orange
I'm gonna
Japanese-
sell this to only buy it again.
well, for the record, I made money on the Vita that I sold last time. It was one of the white ones, and they got harder to find.
I sold my Vita like 3 years ago.
The Japanese market got
But
like
you're not trying to buy it.
a blue one, an orange one, a yellowish one. They got a bunch of cool colors.
Yellow
So
would
this
be
is
cool
a-
for Persona, but
This
not-
isn't a Japanese import.
You said that one was orange?
Yeah, this is orange.
That's not orange, dude.
Yeah, it's orange.
That is watermelon.
Well, they call it orange.
What?
I mean, maybe if it was in brighter light.
Show
but
the camera.
It's kind of like pinkish.
It's not orange.
Like, I don't know. Like, I kind of
it's
feel
like salmon.
It's one of the
that's salmon, right?
It's
Yeah.
it's like a muted orangish.
I mean,
They call that the that's the PlayStation P2000. It's like the slim version.
What's the Vita?
Yeah, it's a Vita.
PlayStation Vita 2000.
PlayStation Vita 2000.
okay, well.
So it's their slim version. It doesn't have an OLED screen.
You got
It has-
Crisis Core yet?
No, I don't have Crisis Core yet.
What's wrong?
I can tell you what I've got on it though.
Dude, the voice acting in that game is horrible.
Really?
Oh god. It's probably some of the worst I've ever seen. You'll see.
Does it have voice acting?
Cutscenes are awesome though. It does, yeah.
Mm.
So this is episode 4
So 4.
of the
But
podcast.
it's episode 1 of the real podcast?
Why?
I thought we were doing after the first 5.
Oh, is that what we're doing?
We're gonna do 5 episodes
And then start
and then do like
uploading them?
yeah.
Okay.
So this is episode 4 of the test shots. The camera is positioned a
The
little differently.
secret tapes that will be uncovered.
So let me
in,
tell you the
like,
the
20
library
years.
on this thing.
People
The
are like,
people give
God,
the
that was
Vita
awful.
people give the Vita a lot of shit because the library is not really good.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 1 games, I've got Final Fantasy 6 and 9, Mega Man
Which one
X4,
was 9?
Power Stone 1 and 2.
X4?
Was 9 the one with the monkey?
Yeah.
Oh,
Persona
was-
4 Golden, Rayman Legends, Wipeout, Minecraft.
Does it hurt you that I've only
Fez.
played like 3 hours of Persona 5 Golden? Persona 4? Persona 4.
Persona 4 Golden.
I've only played like 3 hours of that.
Does it hurt you that I've never played the game?
Yes, it does.
I don't own a Vita.
It's
so
actually a
really
good
not
game.
surprising.
I just I didn't
I
get
played.
enough
I
time.
played Persona 3, so
Isn't
imagine
that
it's
Persona
good.
3?
no, it's Persona
like-
4. No,
Persona 4 was for PS2.
no.
Yeah, I remember it being
And they
all fucked
remastered
up.
it for
Like,
Persona
Final
3
Fantasy.
is like your character's literally below their brains out, kind of. They have guns that they shoot like their personas out to fight. That's actually a thing.
Huh.
A lot of people say that's the best one.
Persona
So-
3?
Mm-hmm.
We always start podcasts the same way.
Mm.
What you playing?
Skip me.
Skip them.
You have to think about it?
Yeah.
Alright, Patrick. You
well-
just moved, so probably not a whole lot.
Yeah, I just moved and I'm still settling stuff. I still don't have internet.
Ooh.
Guy came out Sunday.
It's
like,
been at least a week like a week and a
yeah,
half.
we moved
That's
last
like
Monday.
2 months in real time.
We
Yeah.
moved last Monday.
And
Had a
at
guy come
internet
out.
time, that's
Had
2
a guy
years.
come out Sunday, and he was like, "Hey, I need to drill new lines because your lines don't run to your box, but you have to contact your renter people so you can have a sheet of paper that says I can do this shit." And we're like, "Okay."
But
He's
how
like,
did
"All right,
the-
we'll have to reschedule."
How did
So-
the previous tenants have internet?
So we got all that shit submitted, and it's Tuesday now, and we were like, "All right, let's reschedule." We was like, "All right, I'll see you next Tuesday." I was like, "What the fuck?"
How did the previous tenants have internet?
I don't know if they did. I don't fucking know.
How do you live without internet?
You don't?
Don't. I don't live.
It's funny because you say you haven't had internet for like a week, but look at an article from like 2 weeks ago, and you're like, holy shit, that was 2 weeks ago. That feels like it was like 3 months ago.
Yeah. You lose.
shit.
It's like a hyperbolic time chamber when you're
Yeah.
on the
But
internet.
On the side
But
note,
you don't come out stronger. You come out.
You come out
more
weak, more
confused.
frail and
We were-
more.
we were-
Not more pale because you actually are out of the internet.
we have been talking about Pokemon Uranium,
Okay,
I
yeah,
thought
we
you were gonna
talked
say
about
Uranus for some reason.
uranium last week.
and I actually downloaded it at my girlfriend's place I was staying at before I moved in, and she did have internet, and so I got that downloaded, patched up, and
What do you think about it?
played a little bit. It's okay. It is slightly more difficult than the original game.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know. Your starters are there's like a grass cat, and then there's like a water, like an electric water like dog looking thing.
An electric and water?
Yeah, and then the other starter is a ground fire like raptor looking thing.
There's been electric water before.
Yeah, they have.
There's an anglerfish, I think.
Oh yeah.
Look, I don't remember what it's called. Anywho, the weird thing that they've done in this game is that all the starters only have one evolution. So your starter doesn't evolve till 29,
Wow.
and the third gym is it's like water ground. That's like all the Pokemon, and I started with a fire guy. Basically, you answer like a bunch of questions and just like, here's your starter. Like you don't really.
It picks one for you based
That's
on your
kind of cool
answers.
though.
It shows you like the questions and it's like this question is red, like this answer is red, this one's blue, this one's green. So kind of like if I pick this, I get the red.
We were talking about this last time, I think. I think it'd be a lot cooler in the Pokemon games if Pokemon were more forced on you, so you could just be like, okay, this is my guy, I'm going to play with my guy.
And he stays with you the
Like,
whole time.
You know, you always get to pick your first three,
It's
but
kinda like
if I was
Pokemon
forced,
Yellow.
if they
You get
forced,
Pikachu
like,
forced on you.
yeah, if they force like the fire type on me, which I don't usually play fire types, I would probably be more interested in playing with that guy in the future.
Right.
And then when I restarted the game, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna try something else now. But I kind of wish they did that sometimes.
Yeah, well,
like
I mean,
I don't give the early Pokemon ever a chance. I just like skip them.
It could be a cool thing to make, like just like Pokemon Yellow, where Pikachu follows you. It'd be cool if your starter always followed you and you couldn't like
Yeah.
swap them out. They just stuck with you, and you know they were like your guy the whole time.
Yeah.
They would be super overpowered
Or-
by the end of the game, but
Or the starter selection is much more vast. Like you could pick a Geodude as your starter.
yeah.
Well,
Or what? Yeah. What if it's like you get a random,
Yeah.
like
non-legendary?
going back to Pokemon Uranium, there are actually two modes when you decide to start your game. You either start normal mode, like how it always goes, or they have something called Nuzlocke mode, which is something that I guess a person with the last name Nuzlocke came up with.
Nuzlocke?
Nuzlocke? It's Nuzlocke.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Nuzlocke.
Nuzlocke.
Might be a new electric move.
No, so there's this guy named Nuzlocke,
Okay.
and he came up with a style of playing games, which is basically you play Pokemon, like you can do this with any of the gens, and you pick your starter, and then on any route, the first Pokemon you run into on that route, you can catch it. If you don't catch it, that's it. You don't ever catch a Pokemon off that route. Done.
And if your Pokemon
And then-
faints, they are dead forever.
Yeah,
Right?
if they faint, they're dead forever.
What happens if you
That's
catch
so
that first
awesome.
Pokemon? Can you keep catching Pokemon there?
No. You literally can only catch that. So, like, you hit Route 1,
Uh-huh.
Pidgey pops up, catch that Pidgey. Because
Isn't that
if you
just
don't,
cool?
you don't catch a Pokemon on that route
Isn't
ever.
that just Iron Man mode?
You don't catch any Pokemon or just Pidgeys?
You can't catch, like, so you go on Route 1, like, and Red and Blue. Like, Route 1, you have, like, Pidgey Rattata. Or Rattata. You catch, whatever pops up first, you catch that. If you don't catch that, then you can't catch anything off that route. Like, that first Pokemon is the only Pokemon you can ever catch off that route.
Man.
So, if there's, like, 15 routes in a game, that's, like, 15 Pokemon you can catch total.
Jeez.
But if you miss any of them, like, you kill it, you, like, KO it, or, like, runs, you're done. Like, you miss one. Like, that's it. You can't catch another one.
I think that's Iron Man mode.
That's
I think
true.
that's been around since the beginning.
But there's other features, like,
well, Fire
when a
Emblem,
Pokemon faints, it's gone. Like, you can't use it.
which is kind of like
you
Fire
can-
Emblem's hardcore
there's other
mode, where
modifi-
if
yeah.
one of your party dies, they are dead for the whole story.
There's other modifiers where it's like you can't go to like mini marts. You can only use like items you pick up.
Damn.
You can't use
That would suck.
You can't use items during battles.
That's pretty
stuff
cool.
like that.
That's like you get one escape rope for the entire game.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
That was my biggest problem with.
But I mean,
Or,
like, think
Pokemon
about it, like
Y,
you have to
actually
like
so
depend,
easy.
or
you have to
something.
depend on like the Pokeballs you
Yeah.
pick up to catch things.
That's
But-
pretty cool though.
But in addition, Pokemon Uranium in Nuzlocke mode also makes it so that all the trainers, their levels of their Pokemon are like 7 to 10 levels higher than your Pokemon.
Boom.
So you really got to be like prepared when you go into trainer battles. I haven't actually played the mode, but starting with the fire guy, it's like your first gym that you fight is like normal, then you fight like a grass gym, and then I don't maybe no, it was like a cave gym, and then your third gym is like this ground water type gym. The only Pokemon I ran into that had electric moves, there's like no grass Pokemon that I ran into. There was a Lotad. There was like water grass. And then the other Pokemon I ran into was like electric ground. By the time I hit that gym, my main guy, who had been like exclusively leveling, was like 38 or something like that. And just like, it's like water pulse dead. Like one shot. Like, you like use your best move and it's like, you did half their health, they one shot you. It's like, okay. Alright.
Are the sprites the same?
The sprites, I actually feel like detract from the game a little bit. Like, the Pokemon almost don't look... Like, they almost look like too, like, cartoonish. Like, they don't look natural to me.
But real Pokemon are in the game, too. It's not just, like...
They've done a
Uranium-
couple, like, Mankey's in there, Lotad's in there. A lot of them are new.
Those are
They-
very strangely specific.
Yeah. So the
Mankey and Lotad.
one of the special things is, like, the storyline is that your mother is, like, working on, like, a nuclear power plant, and there's, like, a meltdown, and she disappears. And so you go back to the spot where your mom had, like, vanished from the world, where the old plant was, and they're building, like, a new one, like, 10 years later. And you go in there, and all the Pokemon on the island where this plant was are nuclear type. So, like, all the Pokemon you run, so there's, like, a chipmunk-type Pokemon that you run into the beginning of the game. On this island, it's nuclear type. So it's, like, green glowing, it's, like, green eyes. Interesting about nuclear type is it, like, replaces a type of the Pokemon that already exists.
Which
and
is
it-
what? What does it replace?
It's whatever that one would be.
Yeah, so there's, like, one Pokemon you run into that's, like, poison ground, and so it was, like, ground nuclear.
Oh.
The weird thing about nuclear type is everything is super effective against it. But it's super effective against everything.
Whew.
Be an interesting type.
I love the idea of having a Pokemon game that's more catered towards
But the weird thing about
not
like all the
children
sprites is like
and more challenging.
a lot of the sprites in the game are like, this Pokemon's like neon green and pink, and neon like blue and like yellow, and it's like the color combos just like kind of make them feel not natural.
Like, what do you-
Meganium. Meganium better be Pokemon Uranium.
What are you playing?
That's a good chance. What?
What are you playing?
Not much. I guess Overwatch casually. Then going back to school this week. So
Is Overwatch still as fun as it has been? I mean, is it keeping its...
they've added a new character and a new map is coming out next week, I think.
Is there one character that's like super overpowered that everybody uses?
So it's a tie between Genji and McCree, probably.
I've been playing a game called... This is a weird game. I think it was a PlayStation Plus free game. It's called Velocity 2X. You ever heard of it?
No.
So,
Sounds like a drink.
yeah, it sounds like a Mountain Dew version of Mountain Dew or
Wake
something.
me up. Yeah.
So Velocity 2X.
Do you have any right now? I can use it.
You want some Velocity 2X?
Velocity
Yeah.
2 actually sounds like a fictional drug. This like speed.
Yeah, it makes your brain function faster. And you can see...
2 on you, bro?
Where's
Yeah,
that
let me
Velocity?
jack you up.
I'm
So-
awake.
Velocity is like... It's
Wait,
basically...
Velocity 2, that's the name of the drug in Flash, right?
No, that's Velocity 9.
Dude, that's so close though.
Yeah, this is Velocity 2X.
That was the original. That was like prototype 2.
Yeah.
For Flash.
Yeah. I was wondering, I was like, that sounds like a drug.
Yeah.
That was like the second iteration
Okay,
before
okay.
they got the one that worked.
It's basically
Hit me.
what would happen if you made... so it's got 2 phases. It's 50 levels, so there's 50 stages.
Okay.
And you get ranked at the end of each stage for the number of crystals you pick up, the number of people that you rescue, and how fast you go.
Sonic.
So it's basically...
Sonic the Hedgehog.
It's not Sonic the Hedgehog. It's basically like Metroid. If Metroid had 50 levels, side-scrolling, and you were trying to speed run every level. And so it designs it in a way where you're a like a space explorer traveler girl, and you're trying to get back home. And there's all these other story things, but the main point of the game is to go really, really fast for each level, and it's like really Twitch based. So each level you'll start in a ship, and you'll be flying, and it does a lot of like corridors that you have to fly through, and then you collect a bunch of like gems, and then you'll see a spaceport, and you have to fly in there, and then you'll be on foot, and you're running side scrolly, and you're like sliding under things and jumping over things, and you're like you can teleport like small distances, and so you're trying to beat every level. Like it's like a speed running Metroid kind of thing. It's really fun. I don't think I'll ever play it once I beat the 50 levels because you have to have a certain amount of experience to play the next level. So to unlock the next level, there's 50 levels and I'm on like level 42 or something. I can't play it right now because I don't have enough experience, and so I have to go back and beat previous levels and get more experience by going faster.
Is there like a limited amount of experience you can have per level? So like, so it's not like I can just play.
You can't
level,
grind it.
You can't just play level 1
like
500 times to
No.
get the experience you need. You
No.
have to like 100% level.
You have to improve your previous performances on levels.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it rewards
be
you
good.
for replaying levels that you didn't do well. And it's kind of fun because the first 10 levels you suck because the controls are kind of complicated and like you're not used to how the ship flies and stuff. But now I'm on level 42, and so I went back and played like the first 10 levels, and the first time I played the first 10 levels again, I like perfect them every time because they're so much easier compared to the hard levels.
Is it repetitive?
Yeah, it's this. You're doing the same kind of thing every time. Some levels are more like, hey, you have to find these switches and shoot them in a specific order, and you have to backtrack a lot. And the other levels are like, here's the start, here's the finish, just get there as fast as possible. Other levels are like, there's triple the amount of gems.
Does it force you to move?
Yeah, the screen is always going, and so you can't go backwards. So you can place a teleporter, and you can go like way up the level, and then you can go to your teleport screen and teleport back there. But then you have to go all the way back. But you can place teleporters wherever. It's fun, and I think you would hate it, and you probably really.
I would hate it?
I think you would probably be like, this is kind of dumb. I don't see the point in this. But because you like playing games where you just do the same kind of stuff.
I beat
repeatedly
Super
try to
Meat
do it
Boy,
faster and
so
faster and faster.
That game's like bashing your head against the wall.
I've heard that. I haven't actually played through it.
It's a really good game. It's fun.
Super
very
Meat Boy?
very solid controls, but
Yeah.
you will punch your computer screen.
I've got Super Meat
Did you
Boy
guys
on
ever
here,
play
so-
Super Hexagon?
No.
I saw you play that game, and
That
that
game
game
is
is
nuts.
ridiculous.
You spend way too much time with Super
There's
Hexagon.
3 modes, and then after you make it a minute in each mode, it gets like a hard mode, and so there's 6 modes total. And
It's a game where you turn the screen.
yeah, so you're like a little triangle on the outside of a hexagon, and you gotta like match where like the holes are in the walls.
That's
Except
fucking ridiculous.
they start
Yeah.
getting like crazy patterns and stuff. Like you get like there's like series of patterns that like collapse, so it's just like collapsing in on you, and you get like these ones where you have to like dash like left like really quick and then like go backwards. It's really intense.
Damn,
I
dude.
never finished the game. The whole point of the game is to last for 60 seconds in each mode, and I still haven't finished the game after putting like 19 hours into it.
Damn.
So
Have you heard of Downwell?
Downwell?
Yeah, Downwell.
Uh,
That's another game that you'd really like. I have it on Vita. I'll show it to you after
I got
this.
so close to beating that game. It was like 54 seconds in the last mode.
Downwell is basically, you know those games you used to play on your TI 80 whatever calculator
Oh,
where
is it like where it's like
you have to go down?
You have like the little ball that you have to like. Get
Yeah,
to go
and this is it's like if you took that and then add shooting and add like RPG kind of stuff. Well, less RPG, more like you collect the currency of the game, which are like red gems. So you're falling down. There's a bunch of monsters. You can either jump on their head or you can shoot, but you can only shoot down. And so as you're going, you can jump on their heads and stuff and collect their gems, and then you can buy things at the end of the level to help you. Like, you can buy extra life. You could buy a better weapon or whatever.
I think I could see myself getting into that.
Okay,
I
but once
enjoy
you
games
die,
where you upgrade.
once you die, and your like 4 hit points are down,
You start over.
you like it starts back at the top of the well. But you can move through like stage 1, 2, or 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 2,
There
2,
was
3.
a PS Plus game. I don't remember what it's called, but it's like the human race has been like exterminated and Daleks and stuff.
Okay, we're going on a tangent.
No, anyway.
I have one question for you.
How
and
was
then we're gonna
the
move
what are
on.
you playing
Yeah.
talk we just
Well,
had?
past what you
Yeah.
plan, I
Okay.
have a question for you.
Okay.
This is what's going to help me for next week when I ask the question, what are we playing?
Hmm.
Here are my options of things that I was going to jump into
Mm-hmm.
to be my next game because I'm going to beat Velocity today.
Oh, alright.
I was either going to jump into Final Fantasy VI, which I'm pretty sure is like a 60+ hour RPG.
You won't like it as much as Chrono Trigger. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
I loved Chrono Trigger.
You won't like it as much. You'll just find it not as good.
I was going to jump into playing Persona 4 Golden again, but I've already beaten it all the way through. It's like an 80-hour game. Or I was going to play Severed. You all heard of Severed?
Mm-hmm.
It's the guys who made Guacamelee.
Oh, get Hotline Miami or Transistor. I think they're both on Vita.
I don't think Transistor's on Vita.
Really?
I know Hyper Light Drifter is coming to Vita.
Get Hotline Miami.
I beat it though.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
I could play Hotline Miami 2, which I have not.
Still a good game.
Yeah. I just heard that it's a little more like they can shoot you from way off the screen. And
That was what killed it for me.
yeah.
You can't, like, the first Hotline Miami, you can beat the game entirely without ever using a gun. If you don't use a gun in Hotline Miami 2, you will lose the game every single level.
Wow.
They're just enemies that are off screen, they'll shoot you before you can even see them. Really sucks.
So now that we know what we're all playing, August and September are basically the slowest months of the year for game news because you've gotten past the big summer blockbusters, but you're
There's
not yet to
Gamescom.
like. Gamescom just
There's,
happened. Yeah, there's a lot of good footage at
isn't
Gamescom,
BlizzCon in September?
September?
but we haven't gotten to like the
It's
holiday
usually, like,
season,
November.
Thanksgiving stuff yet. But there is 2 new versions of the PlayStation that are going to be out this year.
Oh yeah, they're coming out they're announcing in September, right?
Yeah, there was a leak for the PlayStation Slim,
Yeah.
which is what they've done every iteration for every PlayStation, which is use
weird
cheaper
because
parts.
I feel
PS4
like the
is already
PS4
really slim.
Yeah, it's already small, but the
It's already-
PS Slim is thinner and more compact.
Because like with the PS3, it was like the original PS3 is like
It was
rounded.
massive.
It was like rounded. You can't really put anything
It's
on it, and then
ugly,
like the
massive.
PS3 Slim is like flat. It's like the PS4 is basically already that.
Yeah,
I
it
wouldn't
already looks like the
change
slim
it.
version of the
The
console.
PS4 is basically like the PS3 Slim.
But
Well, I
so
guess
they've,
that's
it's
cool.
already leaked. There's already been pictures and specs. They are removing. They're removing things like the capacitive touch things to like open and close the drive and.
So it's like a flip drive again?
No, I think it's a tangible button
No.
instead
Just
of like
like that.
the little like.
Instead of like a
touch
sensitive
thingy.
finger.
But there's one they're removing the optical audio port, which most people don't use, but I use it like for my soundbar. That's how I plug it in. It plugs in through the optical audio, so
Oh.
I can't even use that anymore. So I couldn't get the PlayStation Slim and use my soundbar. So
That's weird.
yeah, not a huge thing, but it is going to be
I
out.
mean,
And it's
I
going to be
feel
using
like-
cheaper parts, and it'll probably have a price drop with it.
That's what people were saying is a price
Wow.
drop. That's like the only. It's like if you don't have one yet,
Right.
PS Slim.
Yeah.
I mean, like, but
Doesn't the Slim series also kind of signify the end of a console?
It's like the second half, I think.
Yeah, like every time a Slim comes out, you got like 1 year left on that console.
Well, the Xbox 360 had like 3 versions. It was like the Xbox
I'm talking about
360.
PlayStation.
Yeah, PlayStation has.
Every time they
More
release a
layer.
Slim, that console has like a year left before they do the next
Well-
one.
Well, it kind of does have a year left because there's the Neo.
but the Neo's not the end though.
No, the Neo's not going to be like the next generation, but it's a substantial enough upgrade where there's been like technical studies that have shown that even games that are not built for the PlayStation Neo run faster on the Neo by like 5 frames a second or something. So it's going to be, and there are other games that will play better on that console than they will on my console, even though they're just PS4 games.
The Neo is for Morpheus games.
I think it's I
Like,
think it's
for
a
sure.
way of powering VR.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and I mean it has 4K capabilities.
Which is kind of making me think, if that PS4 can run Morpheus, does it shut off your main TV? Because isn't that what takes up most of the processing? Is trying to display it twice?
there's 2 parts to that. There's a breakout box which looks like a miniature PS4 that you have to have plugged into your PS4
For the Morpheus?
It does, yeah. It does
Oh.
additional graphic stuff on there. And anything that you're playing in the VR, people on the couch can see.
Okay.
And there's also, like, some games where I could see something. Like, let's say I could be looking through the VR and I'm Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
You could be controlling people on the screen, like little normal-sized people, and, like, you could see me.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's a good idea.
yeah, so it doesn't, like, shut off your TV or anything.
You know Kojima's next game is a VR game, by the way.
Death Stranding?
Yeah, he's like a tech junkie.
So, do you guys want to talk about PlayStation here, or do you want to get into the meat of the podcast?
We've been talking about PlayStation for a while. Let's go back to it.
Okay, so this is what the meat. So you had homework
Yeah.
for this podcast.
Uh,
Because it's so slow, I thought we could just do a
In-depth look.
in-depth look at our top 5 favorite games of all time. And there are a couple rules. The first rule is that if you pick a game from a series, it can be the only game from that series. You can't pick Super Mario. Well, I guess you could.
What about Super Mario World and Super Mario 64?
Yeah, that was a bad example. You couldn't pick Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. You'd have to pick your favorite from
Those
the
are
series.
also very different.
Not
Not those two specifically. But
let me know if you
Like-
had any games that you ran into this with where you wanted to put them both in there.
Metal Gear Solid 1 is not Metal Gear Solid 5.
And you also
No.
could do 2 honorable mentions. So
2?
you can do 2
I
honorable.
5.
Okay, we can do your 5. But really, 2.
Sure.
You have to pick your 2 honorable mentions. So top
Okay.
5 plus 2 honorable mentions, and I don't know if y'all ran into this. I was the whole time I was making this list fighting nostalgia versus. Like, is it really a good... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was running into, like,
Yeah,
oh,
definitely.
yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite games. And then I remembered that I played it last year, and it sucks.
yeah, it's
You know,
like
I'm
there
not
are
giving an
games
example,
that you're
but-
like, man, that was my childhood, and you're like, man, there was all those fucking problems with that game that I hated.
Yeah, like,
think
it's
there's a
really
game that
bad
I'm
to go back
forgetting.
to. If there's a game that we're forgetting, we can come back to it in a later podcast. But this one, we've each had at least 10 hours to come up with this list.
My thought process when I was coming up with this list was like, I'm never gonna pick the perfect 5 games that I'm gonna feel perfectly happy with.
Yeah, the
because
list changes all the time,
There
too.
are so many genres of games and so many
Yeah.
games out there that could be in the top 5 that it's just like, I'm gonna pick 5 that I feel comfortable saying are extremely good games that I would be comfortable having on my top 5.
So,
I actually have 6 honorable mentions.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised either.
I could have come up with like...
We should do a top 20.
I was telling
We
him
could've-
earlier, I was like, this is my top 5 and here are my 85 honorable mentions. It's just like, there are so many games that you could
Yeah.
pick.
Let's start with Patrick.
Okay, so say a game,
Honorable
and then,
mentions
and then
first,
go into
right?
why.
Honorable mentions first?
Honorable mentions first.
You want to do honorable mentions
Yeah,
first?
because they're not just top 5.
Okay, you can do. Tell us your first
You
honorable
hold
mention.
the thing away from me. I don't want to cheat.
Alright.
I want to be
Alright,
surprised.
you guys ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Alright, honorable mention. Patrick.
Honorable mention, Portal.
Ooh,
Really?
Really?
Portal.
I did not
Portal.
see that coming.
Portal was a hell of a game.
Damn, that...
When-
Now you
when
made me
I-
realize that Half-Life's not on my list.
Yeah.
It is not on my list.
Fuck.
either. But Portal, when I played Portal, the first time I played Portal, I was like, this is fucking amazing. And like when I was getting towards the end of the game, I'm like, no, it can't be over yet. Like I wanted more. And then I found
Yeah.
another game on Steam that was like Cube. It was like
Mm.
QUBE. That was like kind of like it, but not really.
Is your honorable mention Portal or Portal 2?
Shit.
I should have done this shit.
You're killing me.
Let's just.
I'm
Let's
gonna
just
say
let's stick with
Portal.
Okay,
I'm gonna say Portal.
Okay.
Because Portal 2 is like Portal's like the thing that spawned it. Portal is something that's so unique. Like there's nothing else out there that it really.
Yeah.
That's really interesting you say
Captured.
that. Like, whenever you ask somebody these kind of questions, no one ever says Portal.
Yeah.
Like, ever.
But like,
But it's
you
a
think
top
about
it's a
Portal
good
time
game.
good game.
it's,
Yeah.
it's such a.
it's a
I think
really good game.
the biggest issue with Portal is it's a finite experience. Like you play the puzzles, and then you figure them out, and then it's like you can't really play that again. Like there's not really that discovery element. Like when you play The Witness, like The Witness, you discover things, but it's like
And then
once
it's discovered.
once you figure it out and you understand it and you've learned it, you're like, all right, it doesn't have the same replayability. But I think that's the one flaw with Portal. It doesn't have a lot of like replay value.
If it had an editor, that game would be awesome.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
crazy.
Portal 3.
Portal 3.
The community would come out with just insane.
It's never
stuff.
gonna happen. It's
I know.
Valve.
I know.
That's a
Alright.
good honorable mention, Patrick.
Next
That's a good
honorable
one.
mention.
Next honorable mention: Shadows of the Colossus.
That was almost on my list. I butted it off.
Ooh.
Shadows of the Colossus, man.
Yeah.
Such a good game, and I don't know if it was the first of its kind where...
It's the only of its kind. Still.
No, well, I was going to say, I don't know if it's the first of the kind where it's, like, an exploration game meshed with, like, one, like, boss fights, like, large fights. Like, the goal of the game is, like, there's this huge open world with no kind of, like,
Distractions.
external struggles. Like, you play a lot of games where you have to, like, fight through all these waves of enemies to get to your boss. In this game, it's just, like, there's none of that. You just explore. You see, like, a gorgeous world. There's stuff to see.
It's kind of like Fury. I mean, Fury's a really bad
Yeah.
example, but I like those kind of games.
I like games where it's you go, you fight a boss, it's a big experience, you get something out of that, and you learn something valuable about the game and the world around you by fighting that one boss. Like, you learn something about your world. Like, it tells you, it progresses the story just with that one interaction, and then you can explore and see, like,
And the
more of
story
the
was
art,
good.
and just, like, focus on the art around you, not necessarily having to work about, here's a minion, there's a minion, I have to fight this, I have to grab this bomb, like, do that thing.
And you're secretly the villain.
Spoiler.
Spoiler.
Which game?
13-year spoiler. Shadow of the
So
Colossus.
there was a demo disc. I think it was either a disc or maybe like a download of Shadow of the Colossus before it got
I
released.
remember that.
And you can
climb
only
the
face
tower,
the first Colossus.
But you could glitch and get to the top of the
You could
tower.
glitch the game and get to the top of the tower. But
There's
I
no
remember
there.
literally on the horse, like just running in the field, and just because it felt
Outgrown.
it's the best like
Feels good.
horse movement ever. You
Yeah.
could stand on it and you could like shoot.
You
could-
feel
I
like-
remember
you feel
watching
like
you
a
shoot
person-
that bow on the horse.
You
for
don't
hours.
feel like an epic person doing epic things. You feel like a normal person doing epic things.
Yeah.
And that's something that's very
Ooh.
good in
Ooh.
a game series.
It's a good one.
All right,
That's a good one,
that's
Patrick.
a good start, Patrick. Keep going.
Alright.
All right,
Those are my
number
two.
5 of your top 5.
Ooh, do we have to rank them?
I ranked them.
oh, I didn't rank them.
I didn't rank mine.
Okay, well think about it right now.
I didn't rank mine.
Number 5 should be easy. Number 1 should be hard.
Oh, I can't rank them.
I'm gonna put my number 5 as Tetris.
Really?
What?
What is happening? These puzzle games. I did not see this
Tetris.
coming at all.
So
So I'm-
Pacific Tetris, or-
we don't mean to sound
No,
like that's
no.
a bad game. We just
no,
it's
no,
a
no,
surprise.
I'm not.
It's very, very unique.
I don't think there's a specific Tetris that I'm thinking of,
Uh,
but the Tetris as a whole, like, has influenced the community so much. You see it everywhere. It's in popular, like, media, not just in games, but in TV shows and everything.
You know,
And-
there's a Tetris movie coming out.
that's
Yeah,
disgusting.
I mean, it's
That's disgusting. Make it stop.
everywhere. And
Isn't it the top
Rightfully-
selling game of all time?
rightfully, yeah, it is.
I believe
It's
that.
the highest grossing game, like top selling game of all time.
Yeah.
And I know Johnny, our good friend who loves video games, would rank it highly because he loves watching speedruns, and then at the end of the game you have to like speedrun it invisible
Yeah.
on like the Master Series or whatever it is. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah. It's true because you can also play like any puzzle game and there's Tetris stuff in there.
And we were just playing.
Stacking-
What was that
stacking
one game you
blocks.
have?
Crazy
The
Towers?
PS Crazy Towers?
Crazy
Those
Towers.
PS, like,
Is it Crazy
it's a
Towers?
spawn of Tetris.
Which is it's a
It's
phenomenal
a fun game.
Yeah.
It's a fun game. There's just
free
so
on PlayStation.
There's so
Store.
many things that have throwbacks to touch. Tetris has just like formed the community, but at the same time, it is like very.
Do you remember Tetris Sphere?
It's very straightforward.
That game was hard.
Remember Tetris Sphere for N64, where it was like a Tetris board, but it was on a sphere.
I don't know that.
You could move around the sphere and like.
Yeah, this is intense.
So, when you think Tetris, do you think the same one that I'm thinking, which is a Game Boy, the black and white Game
I
Boy?
played that one. That was good.
I don't think that.
You don't think that
I
one?
love
think
the
colors.
original Game Boy. That's like the perfect size for a console.
I think like arcade like colors,
Really?
like the bar is like red.
Okay, next game.
Next game.
Tetris. Portal. What is happening? I have no idea what to expect anymore.
I don't either.
Number 4,
Mm-hmm.
Minecraft.
Wow.
Dude, you are like the opposite of what I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is good. I like
Yeah,
this.
I had no idea.
I wanted to pick things that aren't. Like,
Is it just because it was like very influential as in your gaming life, or do you actually really love that game?
I really do like Minecraft. I don't play it enough because it is such a time sink.
I've been playing it on.
It is a creative.
I've been
time
playing it
sink.
on here. It's really good on Vita.
Have you
Well-
tried it on VR? Because I got
No.
it working.
I was gonna say Minecraft
Changes everything.
Minecraft is totally a VR game ahead of its time.
Dude, it changes everything. Like,
Because you have the Vive.
I was in a giant pit, made a house. It started raining, so I heard the rain in front of me on the other side of the door. I go out, I look up, and there's spiders up there. I'm like, fuck no. Because I got my VR headset
Yeah,
on, and I'm
yeah.
like, fuck no, I'll wait it out.
Yeah.
It changes everything.
But no, I mean like Minecraft. Like what else out there is like Minecraft?
well,
the
now there's
clones
now
of
there's a
Minecraft.
lot of clones.
They're clones, but they're clones.
Yeah.
There's nothing else out there like Minecraft was the original. Minecraft was.
It's also still the best
was a.
of what it tries to do.
It was like a defining genre. Like you think about genres again, like racing, like this. Minecraft is like its own genre. It's like it made like its own genre.
They compare.
Dude,
They're like,
I got-
it's
yeah.
very
I
Minecraft.
got a billion. I'm gonna
Yeah,
run through
like-
my honorable mentions.
I think one of the
And like
coolest
it's
gaming.
multiplayer, so you can play with your friends. Like some of the best times I remember having Minecraft is playing with people that I played WoW with,
Oh yeah.
and just like you start a community. And
Minecraft with
people
friends
built this
is
tower
awesome.
over there, tower over here, and like you'll be doing something crazy, and people are like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And you're like, "You have to wait. You're gonna find
That
out."
was like John. Dude,
I-
when
I always wanted to
when I
build
had a server-
Bioshock like underwater.
I
but-
did that. That was one of the coolest things I ever did. When I played with John, he played on my server that I kept running all the time. I would just go to his place and there'd be some like new,
Crazy.
insane structure. I'm like, John, what the hell are you doing? He's like, that's a new thing. I just did it yesterday. And then I come back and he's got like 3 more.
You're just like, what is
Does
going
he still
on?
just like play that game religiously?
He plays it sometimes.
You're like, what is
Jeez.
going on? But like you see him, you're like, man, this is fucking.
One of the
awesome.
coolest like gaming moments of my life was when
And the music's
Minecraft,
fantastic.
like Reddit was blowing up, and it was like, gotta play this beta game, Minecraft.
remember
It's
it.
crazy, like. And I downloaded it. I paid like $25 or something to get into the beta.
It was free.
I think I paid for something.
I remember when the beta came
An
out, it was
account.
free, and I got an account for free, and I never had to pay for it.
Really?
I had Minecraft for free.
But I played the shit out of that for like
Yeah.
3 days straight. I played it. And it felt like you could do anything. It was like, okay,
My biggest regrets with Minecraft is just not having the time to actually like do the things I want to do, because I always want to do something on like a large scale. Like I want to make a city in the sky, but I want to make like
I'm
a
gonna break.
legit like
I'm breaking the phone
metropolis
rule.
in the sky.
I'm breaking the phone rule to find out. And you
So-
guys can keep talking about Minecraft. I want to see if PS4 and Vita are cross-play, and we could play
cool.
together.
So I own 2 different servers at 2 different times of Minecraft. The first server was for friends.
Yeah.
John played on it, I think Gregory played on it a little
Yeah.
bit, and a couple other friends. And then I canceled that one, and then like a year later I came back,
Mm.
and I started a new one. And this one I just like played with anybody on Reddit that I could get. But I did it like a pirate server. So what we did was the theme and the goal was you had to make a massive ship, like a galleon.
Yeah.
And then at the end, we shot the TNT at each other's ships. Whichever ship survived, we would just like, it was fun.
That sounds cool.
We do like treasure raids, so chests were completely free to steal things,
Yeah.
but you had to hide them. So if the enemy team found your chest, then it's just like free money. That's great.
That's cool. Yeah, no, like Minecraft, just so many options, so much replayability.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just one of those games that you could literally live in Minecraft. Like, if there were no other games but Minecraft, I feel like you could just exist. Like, playing Minecraft forever.
I don't think it's cross-play,
Rip.
Yeah.
but I do have it on PS4 also, so we could.
We all have it on PS4.
So we could totally get.
Alright.
Why don't we do that? Let's do it. Let's try to do it like
Okay.
At some point.
someday this weekend. We'll just the 3 of us get on in Minecraft for a few hours.
Next game.
Next game. This is number 3. I didn't know we were gonna rank them. This is gonna be. I'm gonna have to do this on the fly.
I'm doing mine on the fly, okay.
Good pick so far, Patrick.
These are interesting
really
picks.
good picks.
Very interesting picks.
They're big games, and so it's not shocking. But
I could have listed the 5 games that I thought Patrick would pick,
and none of these are.
and none of them were on it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Super Mario Bros. The original.
The
The
original?
original.
The original.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, when did you play that?
When did I play that?
Yeah, did you own a Super Nintendo? Or not a Super Nintendo? NES?
Yeah, like way back when.
Damn. I didn't know that.
So you picked it before Super Mario World.
I mean, Super Mario World is a good game, but like
Or 3.
3's a good game too.
Just
No,
you
the-
really like the original.
I feel like we're influencing his picks. These are his picks.
Tell
Why
us
is it your pick?
Those games are all very close. I'm not gonna say that they like don't deserve to be on the list because they do, but I had to pick something and
Yeah.
I picked the original because, I mean, without the original, those wouldn't exist. And
It's
it's like it's
way
the
ahead of-
original platformer.
yeah. It was way ahead of anything else at the time. Like when
Like-
you go back and play that game, you can still play it and it feels good. You go back and play other NES games and it's like
I feel like
Banging your
people
head against
play
the
that
wall.
game, and then they tried to emulate it in their own way, and then eventually people started making platformers that like defined in their own ways, but it was like the original. It was like something that was game defining, like genre defining, like
it saved the
Are
market.
these what you think are the top 5 games of all time, or your favorite top 5?
I think they can be both.
Okay, because it sounds like you're doing a top 5 best games ever made.
No, this is his favorite
These
games.
are your favorite games ever made.
Like I enjoy these games.
That's interesting. All right, keep going.
I like it.
Alright.
Original. You
I
can't.
would-
There's not much to say about the original Mario Brothers. It's
It's Mario.
it's on the Mount Rushmore of games.
All right, next one.
So number 2, Dark Souls.
Good pick.
Yeah.
Excellent
I
pick.
I
sir.
had to pick Dark Souls. Dark Souls is one of those games that there was like this huge hype train on it. I downloaded it. I was like, alright, I'll download it. I'll try playing it. I tried playing it. I was like, what the fuck is this? I knew it was gonna be hard. I keep dying here. I'm getting sick of this. I finally got to this boss. I'm like, I don't really know what's going on. Like, I kind of get it. I kind of don't. I'm like playing it, and then I just like kind of stop playing.
Did you play Demon Souls before Dark Souls?
I did not. And Elliot over here, Dark Souls fanatic, like way before I was.
Who, me?
Yeah, yeah. And he was like, you have to play the game. Like, you just have to finish it. And so, we went to your dad's place one.
Oh yeah,
Or,
you
like-
played it like the whole time we were
Literally
there.
the whole time.
Literally, we were there for like 3 days and spent like 2 days playing.
Is that the
it.
first time you played it?
That was the first time I played it like through.
Extensively,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
I watched you your first time playing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at that.
And so, he was like, urged me to play the game. When we went there, I played it. And, like, the more you explore in that game, the more you're like, this connects here?
I know. It's the only game that ever made
And
me
you're
feel
just
like
like you're just like looking around at like all the art, and you're like, this is fucking gorgeous. They didn't have to do any of this, but they did,
that. Yeah.
and it makes it feel better. It's one of those games where the little things that have no impact on your gameplay actually make the game feel better, and I appreciate games that do things like that make it's like the aesthetic actually increases the gameplay value.
Yeah. Good pick.
So
Number 1.
Elliot will probably.
I
talk
also-
more about
I
Dark
also
Souls
enjoy-
when
I also
he
enjoy.
when he absolutely picks it as his favorite game.
I actually
You guys
enjoyed.
assume.
I actually enjoy the nuance of the fact that the gameplay is brutally difficult to the fact that you start learning how to play it and getting better at it to the point where you go back, you're like, ha, this was hard, it's easy now.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
It doesn't just force you to gain experience to just like beat them.
You can beat that game in level 1.
Yeah, I mean you could speedrun it and
It's
beat the whole
miserable,
game.
but yeah, you could.
Yeah. So,
All right, so far before you get to number 1, we've gone Portal, Shadow of the Colossus as your honorable mentions. Tetris, Minecraft, the original Mario Bros. Now Dark Souls.
yeah.
What's your number 1 game of all time?
My number one game.
Oh wait, don't tell me. Let me see if I can get this.
Are we gonna
of
guess
all
first?
time.
It's gonna be RuneScape or World of Warcraft.
Okay, Patrick, what is it?
Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh, Ocarina of Time.
No, I wasn't even close.
Those games are good, but I feel like RuneScape is so repetitive
Mm.
that it just kind of like, it's hard to like place that as like an impactful game.
So what about
I did play
Ocarina?
Ocarina.
What about Ocarina's makes it your favorite game?
It's like one of the first like N64 games that you really played. I mean, for me, like growing up in Nostalgia Land, like I remember,
Your first
Getting
3D
it.
adventure.
yeah, I remember getting an N64. Like, it's like, dude, I want an N64 so bad. Like, parents like give me an N64, and they're like, I don't know if we have that money. And you wake up Christmas and it's there, and you're like, yes. And what I was like 10 or 12. Like I don't
Yeah.
remember when it came out.
Mm.
But it's like one of the first like real.
You were
systems that
actually
we had.
probably like 6 or 7.
That's probably likely. What? When did it come out? Like 99?
No,
No.
it was like 96,
Yeah.
95.
96.
It's that old.
Yeah, so it would have been like 8,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think
Yeah.
I think I was 6 years old.
Do you think if you went back and played that today, it would hold up?
The graphics
On
don't, but the
N64?
gameplay does.
I have gone back and played it multiple times, and
Have you played the 3DS version?
I think I don't know.
Remix the graphics.
I don't know if I have or not.
The, it's worth playing through on 3DS for sure.
I do know that when I've gone back and played it, yeah, there are parts that's like, I go back and play them like, damn, I forgot how long this game is.
Yeah.
That's usually the first thing that hits me is like, I anticipate getting through the game like a couple hours, like 6 hours. I'm like, nope, this is like a 20-hour experience.
At least.
Yeah.
Did
But it's a fantastic, and like the music, like the songs, just like all the songs, you can just sit there and hum them in your head. And
I
that's
still
all
play
feels
some
good.
of those songs on my Spotify.
I'll be at work whistling the song. It's like,
Yeah.
they're just so impactful.
It's
I'm just like,
ridiculous how good that soundtrack is.
yeah.
yeah, like the
To this day.
Valley of the
Valley-
Gerudo Valley.
And
It's not even like nostalgia. Those are actually
And,
just,
like, I
excellent
remember-
songs.
like I've gone back and played like I've played Twilight Princess and some of the other games, and some of them are better than others. But for me, Ocarina of Time is just Majora's Mask is close.
Because I think all the
I played
Zelda
through
games
Majora's
are now,
Mask.
The Zelda
Majora's
games are just
Mask.
trying to do what Ocarina did.
I think they're trying to do what Link to the Past did.
The new ones are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Link Between Worlds.
Yeah.
I almost put Link to the Past instead of Ocarina of Time just because
Breath of the Wild.
it's kind of like it's like here's the format.
Mm-hmm.
So
This is what all of our games are going to be. from
last
now on.
year, I bought Majora's Mask and Ocarina remakes for 3DS, and I bought all of the Virtual Console games that they offered on the store.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
N64 Virtual Console?
no, like Link to the Past,
oh, wow.
Seasons.
Song of Seasons was
What's the
pretty
one where Link's Awakening? I bought all of
Link's
them,
Awakening is good.
and I was like, okay, this is the year. I'm just gonna blast through every Zelda game
good. Mm-hmm.
ever made, and I'm gonna do it.
Did you play
I
Zelda
played through Ocarina and then Majora's Mask, and I was like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
They were too
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Majora's Mask drained me.
Very
It's an emotional
time-consuming
game.
kind of games.
I think Majora's Mask, when we were growing up, when it first came out, I was a huge Ocarina fan, and y'all both loved Majora's,
If I picked a
and I
Zelda
hated
game,
it. I hated
if
time
I picked a
limit.
Zelda game on this,
But now
it would be
I love
Majora's
it.
Mask.
Dude, thinking about Majora's Mask, there was a game on PS2 called Emperor Fantasia. It was
What
like
the
a
hell was that?
it's like a JRPG game, but the premise of the game is similar to Majora's Mask in the fact that you're like this musician who shows up on an island, and you're like welcomed as like to be this musician for this island, and basically you find out that there's like some sort of evil on the island, and you start forming like relations with party members, but after like a week of being there, you have to go back in time and start your whole week over, and like make progress
That's
like
cool.
slowly through. Like you have like this guitar, and you have to play like almost Guitar Hero type songs, like using the controller. And I remember the music in that game being fantastic. There was obviously like errors with the gameplay, like the monster battles and stuff like that, where like you'd walk in one area, like what the fuck, why are these so hard? And then you'd be in another areas, but like why are they so easy? Eventually, I got through the game and I enjoyed it. I'm like, if they could like up the quality on that game, I'd play the shit out of that game. But if you guys ever get the chance,
That's
I don't know if
interesting.
it'll hold
I've never
up.
heard of that game before.
I don't
That's
know
a
if
good
it'll
top
hold
five.
up, but
That's a good top five.
cool
Top
game.
five.
Cool game.
All right, Ellie.
Interesting.
Do you want me to go next?
I'll go next. I'll go next.
Okay, Elliott's next.
All right.
Honorable
I'm
mentions.
gonna run through my honorable mentions because there's more than two.
Yeah, go.
Okay.
Ready? RuneScape.
Fair.
It can't make the top five because it's actually not that good of a game.
That's why I didn't make
It's
mine.
so important in my life at,
I
at
agree.
this point.
It's like one of the best free to play MMOs of all time.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why it's not in my top five is that if there was a game that was better than that, I would have played it. The only reason I played RuneScape is because it's all we had.
Yeah.
Like it was our option.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good game, but it was just like you hit like level 40 and you're like, well, I'm here for 8 days.
Okay. GoldenEye 64.
It's a good game. I remember playing that game with you guys extensively.
What do you think?
I don't think it. I've tried to go back and play it. That version on N64 does not hold up with the controls.
Oh, it doesn't.
But at the time,
But
it
how-
was
The nostalgia train is real.
How
though.
much
Yeah.
did we play that game as kids?
hundreds of hours.
Too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember playing a game and somehow you guys were against me and I got the golden gun.
Yeah,
I
you
still
beat us,
don't-
you beat us both.
I remember that day vividly.
Yeah.
We were all 10 years
It
old.
was like
or something.
facility. There's like 3 entrances into the room to get the golden gun.
We had to sneak. We had to sneak.
Somehow
into
it got it
the
away
room.
from you too. Like I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna slow it down a bit so we can talk about these. Pokemon Blue version.
Pokemon was so close to being on my list.
What do you think, Ray? I really wanted to do Pokemon X,
Really?
but as an impact on my life, Blue version by far was the most impactful.
Do you remember the day you and I got?
Yeah,
Mom and Dad bought us
yeah.
red
I
and blue.
remember-
Pokemon
remember-
changed everything.
I remember you guys talking about it. And like I remember like thinking about what does that game look like? Like how does it work? Because you guys were talking about it, and then I actually played it with you guys. I was like, oh man, this is fantastic.
It was probably the most important game of my childhood.
It might have been the most important game of my life.
Yeah.
Like as it comes to video games, like
Maybe.
Pokemon
It
changed
hooked me-
everything.
Yeah, it was like, okay,
That's when I was like,
can
I love
play-
video games.
Really?
Yeah.
I can play 60-hour RPGs and like beat them. You know, before it was like kind of small little like.
Yeah. It was,
You know.
it was like the first like real like time commitment. Like,
Yeah, there's a
game.
story and.
It's not just like we're like battling each other like for an hour.
It's
here
not
and an
Smash
hour
Bros.
there.
Like play for 30 minutes.
It's
and-
like it's like a full like 60-hour experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of left field, Diddy Kong Racing.
Woo!
Ooh. I didn't even think about that one.
I know.
It's good though.
I thought hard about these.
Diddy Kong
Okay,
Racing
you
was
can't
a-
say any more honorable mentions because now you're just going into some of my favorite games.
I have to say the
No,
rest.
you can't. You
I
can't
have
say the
to.
rest. You gotta go into your top
The rest
five.
are not on yours. I swear to God. I swear. Okay. I won't even talk about this one because I'm assuming it's on yours.
Here
Okay.
comes Cupid.
You've already used.
Shh. Don't tell me. I want it to be a surprise. Okay. Power Stone 2. Am I taking all yours?
Yes, literally 4 of the picks that you've done in your honorable mentions have been in my top 5.
This is interesting for me.
This is why I wanted to just do top 5.
The brothers are just like nostalgia train over
Oh,
here.
I didn't know.
I told you.
I'm not even talking about them. I'll let you talk about them because they're not in my top 5. Should I just stop honorable mentions?
Yes.
How many more do you have?
Go into your top
I
5.
have 2 more.
No, top
Okay,
5.
can I say one that is 100% not on yours?
You said that about the last one.
I can see the last one. I can't see this one. Animal Crossing.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that's on Greg's.
Go into your top 5. And we'll correct.
Okay,
Greg's like,
I'm
"Yeah,
sorry.
let's cross this
I'm
one
sorry,
up
I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, top 5 starting.
I do want to hear your other one though. Okay. I don't think that would be on Greg's.
I think it might be.
Really?
I think so.
Just
Okay.
do it.
All right.
Oh,
Top
top
5.
five.
Top 5. Number 5. Donkey Kong Country.
Oh, that's a good one.
What do you think?
The original,
The original.
I liked all those. Yeah.
the music in the Donkey Kong
The
Country
music,
series
the
is
gameplay,
probably
the atmosphere, the story.
Damn.
the best
Killed
Super
it.
Nintendo music.
Killed it. That's like my go-to platforming game. I replayed those recently, just for fun.
They
One,
hold
1,
up
2, and
with
3.
Great games.
They hold up.
Mm-hmm.
Donkey Kong Country has an amazing story. You know
Uh-huh.
why? They
It's
tell you
simple.
all you need to know in 5 minutes. You
It's simple. You're not trying to save the world.
Nope.
It's just
I want
Trying to
my
get your
I
bananas.
want
Go
my
get your
bananas.
bananas.
Somebody stole my bananas. I'm
Exactly.
getting my bananas back.
Did
That's
you guys-
all the game
Did
is.
you guys play the third one?
I did.
Where there's like banana fairies?
Is that Dixie,
It was Dixie and Kitty Kong.
Dixie and Kitty Kong?
And you like go around like a hovercraft, like trying to collect like all
That
the
was
banana
pretty
fairies. and
sweet,
bring them
actually.
back.
Like Lost World and all that. Yeah.
With,
All right.
Like the cogs.
That was pretty simple. I'm gonna go to this next one because we probably have some interesting feelings on this one. Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah. I almost.
I had to
I
pick.
thought about it.
I had to pick one of the Smash Bros. because it's extremely important to my gameplay experience, and that one I think changed us the most. The challenges on that were great. Some of them were like co-op. We played the multiplayer on that one religiously.
Yeah.
I feel like
Countless hours. playing
when
that game.
you're holding a GameCube controller and playing Melee and you want to do something, it's if you can't do it, it's because you are the one that can't do it. Like that game will let you do whatever you want to do
Yeah.
if your fingers can do it.
Yeah. And it's like
And
when
it's
you
the
think,
only version of Smash Brothers that I felt that way.
when you think about GameCube games, like it's you're like there's Melee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other like GameCube games that are super influential, like Melee is. I mean, for me, I didn't put it because I was thinking more of like solo experiences,
Mm-hmm.
and Melee
Which
for
is
me was very
interesting.
much a multiplayer.
Which is interesting because I guess my favorite experiences are multiplayer experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's because you're really, really good at multiplayer games. Like you're normally,
Well, I mean,
if
like,
you if you put time into a game, you normally get like.
I mean, you could
top
argue that like
10%.
WoW is like pretty much exclusively a multiplayer game, and I wouldn't necessarily say that's like has anything to do with the fact that you're good at the game.
Yeah.
Because you could be terrible at that game and still enjoy it multiplayer.
Right. And so, Melee. Speaking of, number 3, World of Warcraft.
Ah, it did make the list.
World of Warcraft.
I missed the WoW train big time.
Dude,
It's probably for the
Everybody
best.
jumped on it. I tried to run behind it and catch up. Never did.
one of
Missed
the
it
saddest
completely.
things in my life is the decline of that game.
I agree.
That game was pure magic in the first 2 expansions.
I think
It didn't
was
hold your
inevitable.
hand, it just threw you into this world that nothing compared to the size of that world.
Not at the time.
Ever.
No.
I was
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You actually, because like mounts were hard to get.
Yeah.
It would take you.
And by the time you hit
It would
the-
take you hours and hours to go to where you're trying to go.
When you hit BC, I didn't play BC. I started in Wrath, but in
Mhm.
BC it was like somebody who had a flying mount. It was like, holy shit.
40
They have a
people.
flying mount.
Like
40
when you saw them, you were like, that guy's.
You're like, oh my god.
Yeah. 40 people getting together to go do a raid.
That's pretty
40
cool.
people.
That's like, dude, we're like, let's get the 3 of us together on a Tuesday. I was like, can't do it. Sorry, commitments. You're like, let's get 40 people together every week for like 4 days a week.
Did it happen?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Man.
You had to if you wanted to progress. Like,
That game
the people-
changed everything.
like the original expansion, it was like, there was like, what, it's like every time you have a patch, you have a new raid. So it's like patch 1.0, then like 2, then like 3. So like Nax was like the 3rd patch for the original game.
yeah.
People who raided Nax were like, not only did you have 40 people, but you had 40 people on a consistent basis who were like fucking amazing at the game, who had good internet and good computers, who were good at the game. It was just like,
And when
That was
I
insane.
say World of Warcraft, I'm talking about the original WoW, because the WoW that exists right now is vastly different from the original.
I feel like the last expansion that really held up well was Wrath.
Yeah, but it wasn't as good as the other ones. Which
I can't comment because I didn't play them at the time.
Okay.
But
so like
I can understand where you're
when the game came out, before all the babies cried and they fixed all this stuff. Imagine this: you have Horde and Alliance. Horde. So everyone has classes, right? You know, the standard classes, rogue, warrior, etc.
Shaman and all that stuff.
Horde had shamans.
Oh, it is very
exclusively.
Yeah.
Alliance had paladins.
That's cool.
You could never ever be those classes as the opposing faction. And it just like made everything very unique. Like you were a shaman
That was
for the Horde.
That's the biggest thing that's been the decline for WoW is everything's
Yeah,
gone,
they try
gone
to be
from
like
exclusivity.
they don't want to hurt
inclusivity.
anybody's feelings and like, oh yeah, you can be a paladin now, Horde. Go ahead. You can be a cow paladin. It just doesn't
Not
make
even
sense.
that, but like blood elves, like it's just like it's gotten to the point where it's like why can't like
And it was,
every like class. It's like why can't every race just be every
Yeah.
class?
Getting to max level was like a major accomplishment. So like if you were a Horde max level shaman, that was a big deal, and like
Yeah.
people respected you for that.
Because I remember when I was leveling.
Made you want to play the game.
I remember when I was leveling, they were like, yeah, all these things you're fighting used to be elites, which
Yeah.
basically elite meant like it was like 5
Kick
times
your
harder
ass.
than.
Yeah.
It was basically like you needed 3 people to kill an elite. So it went from like you have to kill 25 of these elites to like you can kill 25 of these by yourself, no problem. The level.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Memories.
Good game.
World of Warcraft.
Number 2. I'm gonna let you guys guess. It's not Dark Souls. Don't even say Dark Souls.
Because we know that's number 1.
You're assuming, just out of nowhere, that Dark Souls is my number 1. Because you
Um,
don't even know what my number 2 is.
Number 2. Hold on, I'm going to think about this for a second.
You got 10 seconds.
StarCraft.
Okay.
I don't know.
What is it?
Ready?
Monster Seed? I don't know.
Monster Rancher 2.
Oh, it was
Good.
close. I almost got there.
You almost got it. Monster Seed was almost in my honorable mentions. Monster Rancher 2.
I can see that for you.
If there was a way
never
that we
owned
could
it.
play that game today,
Where's my remake?
I don't
Where's
care
my
what they need
sequel?
to do.
Did something happen to the franchise? Like, did someone own it and is just like putting it in a vault?
Without looking, I don't know. But the game needs to
concepts.
have disc monsters.
Disc
If they-
still exists.
If they remade it, it would
Remake the
have to have
game.
disc monsters.
You know what'd be even better though?
Hmm.
Discs have become kind of obsolete, so I think you could almost have like a phone interaction, where like you take pictures of things, and those become your monsters.
Patrick dropping game, improvements.
I'm just thinking because we live in a different age now. Like back then, it was like
Remember those
you had disc
those
everything.
barcode
like,
scanner little things?
You
like
could scan
CDs were,
barcodes.
it's like people had little like visors full of CDs, but like people don't have that anymore. It's all Spotify. It's all
So
digital.
you would want a Monster Rancher that worked
You-
with your phone that you could go and take pictures of, like either barcodes or QR codes.
You
or,
need
like,
something because that was like the major appeal of the game, but now you're like people don't carry around.
It was
CDs
kind of
they
like
did.
Pokemon Go-ish in a way,
People-
way before Pokemon Go, because it was like
People don't.
you,
People
if
don't
you want
hoard
to get
CDs.
if you want to get different monsters in this game, you've got to go hunt them down. Like you have to bring. I remember there was I think the Aqua, like the band Aqua, was like one of the games that gave you the whale.
Yeah, it gave you a
giant-
whale.
Yeah.
This is the coolest game ever.
Do you remember when we were playing Monster Rancher 2, the Black Bunny that we had?
Oh, dude, the Black Bunny.
Do you remember that guy? He like never
remember the
lost a
Black
match.
And we saved the file right before before he died.
The day before he
So
died.
every time we
Never played
loaded
it
that
again.
file,
Oh,
he would
it's
die.
so sad. It was the
I
day
remember
before.
We got to do
he died.
one thing with him, and the next day he would always die.
Oh, that
It's
game is brutal.
The most unfortunate save
Tragic.
point.
What was his name? The Black.
Blackie.
It was Blackie. Was his
Mhm.
name? The Black Bunny boxer who would just crush anything in his path.
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could find that game somewhere and play it.
Mm-hmm.
Could you play? No, you couldn't play it on PS4.
You didn't have to get the PS1.
We'd have to get.
I wonder if you could.
I still have the
like,
the little white
Blu-ray.
PlayStation one.
What if you could read Blu-ray and DVDs for that? Because they don't exist then.
I don't
You need a
know.
Blu-ray player.
Huh?
You need a Blu-ray player to play Blu-rays.
Well, no, just like scan them in.
I
Like
don't think- I
put
don't
a
think you can
Blu-ray in a
even scan
PS1. I don't think it will.
them. Okay,
Well, you know.
number 1,
Oh.
Bubble Bobble.
Bubble Bobble.
Dark Souls.
Oh, okay.
Man,
Dark Souls. If there was
I was
one,
about-
do I
was
even
about
need to talk about this? Why it's the best game ever made?
why is it your favorite game ever made?
Aside from what I was saying earlier.
Okay.
Because it's not the best game ever made. That's debatable. But why is it your favorite game?
The lore
No.
is not only one of the deepest lore, is the most beautiful, well-constructed lore. The game exists in a realm that is long past, and you're kind of just like basically walking through the ruins of an ancient civilization. It doesn't hold your hand, it doesn't tell you anything, it lets you figure it out on your own. The whole world is connected in an insanely cool way.
It is.
You go hours and hours and hours to that
Okay.
game, drop a ladder, and you're like, holy fuck, I've been here the whole time. I've just been like a little bit higher than where I thought I was.
Yeah.
The sense of accomplishment you get for finally beating that boss you've been stuck on for hours. The PvP was amazing. I can go on, dude. I'm done.
He can.
I think
I'm done.
I like. So going to the lore, it's like you're in a world that is long past. Playing games like that always makes me want to be, like, I want to go back. I want to be
That'd
part
be
of
cool.
like the lore when it
That'd be
was.
cool if they do like a
Active.
prequel, like 10 years from
that
now,
would be really good.
Like,
during
I
the
remember,
golden age.
like going back, like RuneScape, like it has. There's like the gameplay, but the lore in the game. He had points where they talk about like, we're in the third age or fifth age or whatever you are, and they talk about like third age and second age and first age and like where the gods were active, and you're like, man, I want to play when like that was active. I want to play when like you're like walking through ruins of like these once great cities. Like I want to be part of like when it was a great city. Like
Mhm.
I want to play that.
Now, the interesting thing, because you all saw the Dark Souls thing coming, the interesting thing I'll say about Dark Souls 1 is that Dark Souls 3 is I almost love it more than Dark Souls 1.
Wow.
Almost. But as soon as the next 2 expansions come out, it'll probably overlap Dark Souls 1.
which is soon.
Yeah. It's just like right there where Dark Souls 1 is like a little bit better,
Yeah.
but as soon as these 2 expansions come out, it's probably going to boost it up.
I think the one thing that gives it that boost is the connectivity of
Yeah.
like, the world.
That's the one thing that Dark Souls 3 is missing, sadly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't kill the experience in any
No,
way.
it doesn't.
Can I tell you? Can I admit something?
Mm-hmm.
I've played and beaten
Mm-hmm.
Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. I've never played 1 ever.
That's heresy.
And I still don't understand the lore whatsoever.
It's heresy.
You should go
I
back
love
and play
playing
the
through
first
them. I
one.
loved the combat. I loved the bosses. I love like finding cool loot. I skipped the story completely.
Heresy, dude.
I know.
You should go back and play the first one. Like,
It's not remastered yet, so it's tough for me to find a copy of the game.
Dark
to
Souls
play.
is not even my first Souls game. I played Demon Souls before Dark Souls.
I played Demon Souls
I did not
too.
like Demon Souls.
I played the shit out of Demon
Did
Souls.
not like that game.
I
I
found
could
out
not
a really
get
good
into
like farming technique for
I
a
didn't like
boss,
the
and I
items.
just did it 100 times.
I didn't like the items. I didn't like the hub world. I don't know what it was.
I think that
it's interesting. you don't
if
like
Dark
the whole
Souls
world.
gets remastered, or there's a way I can play it on my PS4.
Dark Souls 1?
Yeah. Because right now it's just the remake of Dark Souls 2.
Dark Souls 3 fixes a lot of things that Dark Souls 1 did. Like,
Yeah.
Dark Souls 1 is not a perfect game by any
It
means.
does have poise though.
Is it Miyazaki? Is that Miyazaki's the guy?
I think
Yeah.
so.
He was involved in 1 and 3, but I don't think he was as involved in 2.
That was B Team.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell, in Dark Souls 3, he's kind of just like, pretend like 2 didn't exist, guys. Yeah, just forget about that game.
But you like 2, though.
2 is a good game.
I actually never played.
It's
two.
definitely the weakest.
I
of the
never
three.
got through 2. I didn't get through it.
Yeah.
I kept getting stuck.
It's
I was
definitely
like, I
the
played
weakest.
through 1. I got to, and then like 2 came. I was like, I'll be able to play through this. It's like, what the fuck? Why can't I kill like this one monster? Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dark Souls 3.
it's good.
Great
Played through
game,
it.
dude.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was crazy. That came out
I
right around the
literally-
time as Uncharted 4.
it came
and my
out
mind
and-
was like...
It came out, and then I was like, I have the money. I'm gonna get a PS4. And
You
like,
bought a PS4 for Dark Souls.
the very first game I
Yeah.
got was Dark Souls. Yeah,
And you beat it, though.
yeah. Like it was the only game I owned for it.
One more honorable mention before I go.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts.
The original Kingdom
original.
Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts?
Are you hyped for Kingdom Hearts
No.
3?
No.
You're not at all
It's,
hyped
it's
for
been
Kingdom
too
Hearts?
long.
Dude, I don't
That's what
even-
you said about Last Guardian.
Yeah, it's been too long.
So you just... I mean, but that... Part of
Killed my hype. You know how long I was waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3?
Too
I'm
long.
done.
Too long.
I'm over it.
You'll play the shit out of it when it comes out.
No, I probably won't.
Alright.
If he gets the game and has time for it, I could see him playing the shit. out. If he got into it.
I'm going to try to go in order, but I may mix some order things around, because I wasn't ready.
Honorable mentions.
We were all not ready.
Honorable mentions.
Okay. Honorable mention, Legend of Dragoon.
Okay.
I missed
Good
Final
choice.
Fantasy 7.
I tried to go back and play that, and
I
couldn't
missed-
get into it.
Final Fantasy 7, I missed Final Fantasy 6, 8, 9, 10. I didn't play any of them. I didn't. Long, like 60-hour RPGs were too much for me growing up. But Legend of Dragoon, the 4-disc collection on PS1, for whatever reason that one stuck with me. I liked it. I liked that the main guy was red. I remember thinking that was cool
Yeah.
when I was growing
can
up.
see that.
And I remember them having like a Power Rangers kind of thing where they could
Yeah.
be strong, but then they could get like really super strong and do a cool morph thing, and I like that.
Cool. I like the combat system. It was like the little like white square.
It
like,
kept you
got-
involved in the
you gotta, like,
combat.
Perfect.
It's the Super Mario RPG system.
Is that what it is?
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was more than
It's
just.
timing-based attacks.
That's what I didn't like as much about Final Fantasy games back then. It was very much like a
Watch it
Strategy.
play out.
watch it,
Yeah.
hit a button, watch the animation. This one was like, okay, you want to be involved in the fight, you got to hit the combos. And like later in the game, there were like
What was
15
the
hit
best
combos.
attack?
Oh, it was the
Harpoon!
there was Lance's
You remember Harpoon? If you hit both,
and like
he
when,
goes, Harpoon!
and spoiler alert, like when Lance dies,
Dark.
when Lance
You
dies,
mean,
Lance
Lovitz.
His
His name is Lovitz.
Lovitz, yeah.
Yeah.
Not he reminded me
He
of
had a lance.
yeah, he had a lance.
Yeah.
He reminded me of Knights of the Round Table. What's the guy's name?
Lancelot.
Lancelot. He
Mhm.
reminded me like of that character. When he died, I was like,
I know, when he died, I was like, what
he
the
has to come back to
fuck?
life, right? He has to come back.
He never
Games don't do
comes
this,
back.
and he never came back.
You know,
You
get.
Albert.
You know, I didn't actually play through the game.
I have it on Vita, and I
Leon
played
is a
through it
fucking
all the
ass.
way through.
I tried
Beat
to
it.
play it. Oh, I think you had it on the PS3 that you gave to me
Mhm.
before you took it back and sold it. But, I tried playing it and it was so linear. That
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
had
definitely
a really
a-
hard time with it.
It's definitely like a
It was
you
like
know.
you finish this one part and you never go back.
yeah. I mean, it's a singular story that you're supposed to play through. It's not a grindy kind of RPG.
Harpoon.
Well, I
Harpoon.
mean, there's just like
Harpoon.
other games where it's like you go somewhere and then you have to come back.
There was
And
a-
it's like
I forget his
I don't
Hamch.
Was like it
I
presented itself as very linear.
It was the Kung Fu Master guy.
Yeah.
With
There's the big
purple.
orange dude.
Yeah, and you get him on your team, and like he's the bad guy for half the game.
Then Leon's still an asshole.
Yeah, it was a emotional story for sure.
Okay, all right.
So that's an honorable mention. Okay. This one's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna do more than 2 honorable mentions. I'm gonna break my own rules
okay.
because
I have
now
another-
I'm not gonna ruin.
I have another one
anybody
that I
else's
didn't
picks.
say because
Because now it's not possible for me to ruin other people's picks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sonic Adventure 1.
I had Sonic Adventure 2 on mine.
I know you guys were 2 fans and I was a 1 fan. I like the world of Sonic Adventure 1 better. I like the hub world.
I agree with that.
I like
was-
that you felt like if you want to go back to the beach, you have to like run through the metro and go
The
to the
concept-
beach.
That was so tedious though. Like the doors and the loading and all that.
Yeah, I mean the loading.
I didn't like that Sonic Adventure 2 made it like a stage.
Sonic
Like
Adventure
the
2
Chow
was
Garden.
the Chow Garden was like the #1 thing for Sonic.
That's why you
Adventure.
play that game.
But like, I get what Greg's saying because Sonic Adventure 1 very much felt like an adventure like world type thing. Like
was
a
a-
sandbox.
Yeah.
Whereas like Sonic Adventure 2 felt like a title screen with like stages that you selected.
Yeah, that's what I didn't like about it. I didn't like that it turned it into like just a kind of linear stage thing. I like playing around in the
Yeah.
world and kind of like goofing off and trying to get up on ledges and stuff.
Also, 1 had better characters. It had
It was more unique.
Big the Cat.
Had Big.
It had the robot.
You had to catch Froggy.
What was his name? The robot.
I don't know.
I
I
can't
just
remember.
remember as Big. You had to
And
catch
then
that frog.
2, you had the stupid mechs.
Catch that frog.
So terrible.
So let me throw one in here. This is another honorable mention. The Sims 1.
Okay.
I didn't think about that.
The Sims
that was a
1.
fun game.
The build music
Oh,
to this day
I still
I
is
swear-
listen to
on my
I've wa-
iPod.
I've walked into like our local grocery store, Harris Teeter, that's like native to our area, and it's just like I'm listening to the music, and every now and then I'll hear like a song. I'm like, is that from The Sims? Like, I swear that's from Sims.
The music's not as good anymore, but like the
like
the build music
that
was
like
just-
you click like the build, and you're just like, oh yeah. Like I swear I've walked in the grocery store and be like, I swear this is from The Sims. Like they took this from The Sims and put it on their soundtrack.
I still remember Rosebud to make money. I remember that you
Oh,
could
yeah.
move objects and you could make it so you could like block people in like a
Mm.
4-walled area and you could drown people. I sound like a serial killer, but
But I mean, like,
you could really play around in that game.
and then like they would come back as ghosts sometimes. You had to try to get that.
Okay, time to get into the meat and potatoes of this. I was gonna also say Pokemon Red, almost made the top 5. I had to bump it out.
Mm.
But Pokemon Red, I actually thought about picking Fire Red
Mm.
because if
Yeah.
you put the 2 in front of me, I'd play Fire Red every time.
Yeah.
Because it just made it.
Well, yeah, that's
just,
what I was saying.
Because, like,
That's
you
what I
get-
was saying for
You
X.
get the full
Like, X is
experience
a
of
better
Red,
game.
but you also get more.
You don't have to juggle inventory
Yeah.
because like your box is full and. Okay.
5.
This one's tough.
Bubble bubble.
This one's tough.
Harpoon.
Harpoon.
Number 5 is Smash Brothers Wii U.
Huh. Okay.
I didn't think I'd ever say that.
I can see that.
I thought that I'd be a Melee guy forever. But nothing is cooler than having 8 people in this room.
Mm.
And
That's
just, all playing together. And there's also...
And having a random.
It's clearly the
Bowser's-
best game. Like, if you're not a tournament
Yeah,
asshole,
it's yeah.
like,
I think it's...
it's got
Melee is-
the biggest and best roster. You can play with 8 players.
I'm a
best
huge
graphics,
Mega Man fan.
Largest level selection.
There's nothing better than just being like Bowser on an 8-player stage and just like
Trolling everybody.
just
and
over smash and just see him like drop kick and like 3 people run into it and it's just like
But you know what? I actually miss the drawing style of the first game. They had like the
I do, yeah.
balloons that was like pow smack.
it felt very much like you were in the story.
It was very stylized.
Yeah.
It
the
made
new
you feel
games-
like you were
The new
toys.
games don't look like it has a style. It looks like they're just throwing the characters in the game.
Yeah.
I miss that style.
It's like
I-
the original was like you're like in a book, like you're all toys.
Yeah, they were like little dolls, and Mr. Hand would fly 'em around.
And
If
like
I
you
had
still
any-
have Master Hand, but it's
If I had any criticism for Wii U Smash is that the Fire Emblem characters got out of control.
What the hell is up with that?
And the DLC characters were meh. Cloud was
Cloud?
awesome. Cloud was awesome.
Ryu?
Bayonetta wasn't very cool.
Yeah.
Corrin wasn't very cool. I was disappointed in.
Did they have
Bayonetta
some
and
kind
Corrin.
of like backdoor
Well, it's-
deal with Fire Emblem or something?
I don't know.
I think the
creator really
creator
likes Fire
really
Emblem.
likes Fire Emblem.
But
He also
like,
I get what you're saying because it's like
At what point do we stop?
because in Melee it's like you have such a diverse roster. Like
everybody's different.
it's like this one's detailed, this one's like curvy,
Roy,
curvy's
Marth,
not.
Lucina are the same character.
And then you hit this point in like Wii U where it's just like this character is like extremely detailed. This character is like you start feeling like Nintendo's always been known for like kind of having like kid friendly like
they all became
cool like
yeah.
like cel shaded like just like bright colors, and then it was like here's like these extremely contrasting like difficult to draw complex models, and it just all became that, and it started to feel like
But
what's the
damn, am I
diversity?
looking forward to the next Smash Bros.
Hell yeah.
Give me that King
I
K.
feel like we
Rool.
I feel
Give
like
me
we,
that.
yeah. I feel
give
like
us
we were,
something that's not a fucking human.
yeah. Give
I
me-
think that's what
give
it
me
is.
King K. Rool for
I mean,
sure.
Like you have all these characters, you have like a dog, you
Realistically-
have like Kirby, and then all of a sudden it's like here's 8 humans. And you're like,
Realistically,
okay.
they now have the timeline of the next characters they're going to make from the ballot.
Yeah.
Like, they know what the people want now.
Yeah.
I want diversity.
And they're going to do it. They're going to do each one in order, probably.
I feel like we bashed that game more than we praised it.
No, that
Like,
game's
it's
great.
totally
That game's great.
amazing. One of my
It
top
was
5.
it was tied for me in Melee, but Melee was more influential on me.
So I've got to do this. All of us touched on it, but I've got to go. I've got to put it on the top 5. It's RuneScape. It's like either original or very early of the RuneScape 2.
You like RuneScape 2 more than Classic.
Yeah, I didn't at first. I stuck with Classic for
Yeah,
a long
no one
time.
liked RuneScape 2
And y'all
first.
moved on to RuneScape 2, and I didn't, and I stayed behind, and then eventually I moved into it. But
and then like RuneScape 3 came out, and you get lost.
I have probably dropped triple or quadruple the amount of hours into that game than any other game I've ever played.
It's
It's
in the
surprising.
thousands because I've played the MOBAs for like 750 hours.
And you've played RuneScape way more
And
than
I've played
that.
No.
RuneScape 2 for years.
You haven't. You'd be surprised, but
It's at least 1,000 hours.
We can find playtime. Can't you find playtime on the website?
Mine's not nearly as much as I thought.
There
it was.
were days that I played that game from morning to night. Just like never
I have
even left
played
the room.
more days in WoW than in RuneScape.
That's crazy.
I have
It's
RuneScape taught me
surprising.
how to type. RuneScape taught me how
Told you
to.
how to sell fish.
It taught me about how economics works.
It also teaches you how to interact with.
It taught me how to interact with other people. It taught me what was annoying that I found in other people and what I really liked in other people. It was to this day I'll stand behind this. That game is the most do what you want of any other game ever made. It lets you do whatever you want to do from the start. WoW kind of has like campaigns.
RuneScape's
It has
like that game where it's like
an
it lets
in-
you do whatever you want, but it's like you're like, damn, this is close to doing whatever I want as I'm gonna get. Like,
Yeah.
like you sit there and you're like, I wish I could do more of what I want than what I'm
That's
getting
why
out
I'm
of
gonna
this game.
make that dream game
but it's
eventually. It's
close.
just like a world is almost exactly like RuneScape, but you are just that person you want to be. You want to be that baker who
Where-
sits in a store
yeah,
all
where
day,
it's like-
makes
it's
food.
like- it's
I'm
like-
gonna do that.
Where it's like Morrowind, like you get better by doing like that thing.
Yeah.
Morrowind should have been on my list.
So
Not on my top 5.
for RuneScape, for example, I decided one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be
Woodcutter.
a woodcutter, and I'm gonna make bows and arrows, and I'm gonna sell them for a lot of money. And I did that for like a year, and I got 99 woodcutting, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be a really good fisherman, and I'm gonna fish, and I'm gonna sell fish to all these adventurers. And then I got 99 fishing, and one of my favorite things about RuneScape is that you always feel like every time you log in, by the time you log out, you feel like your person has gotten a little bit better somehow.
Yeah.
You've either found a cool item or you like leveled up something, or you always felt a sense of like my character is improved, and the ceiling is so high in that game. It almost feels unobtainable, like the ceiling. I feel like in
Yes.
WoW and stuff, like once you hit the ceiling, you hit the ceiling kind of.
It's kind of ridiculous now.
In WoW, you hit the ceiling hard.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
RuneScape, you
You
can't hit,
can't.
like it's almost impossible to hit the ceiling.
It's gotten to that point.
It has, and I haven't played it in a couple years.
It's gotten to the point where like hitting the ceiling is like the expectation.
That's insane. Because when I
Yeah.
played it, the version that I'm thinking is like if you saw somebody with more than 199, you were like, damn, that guy is
Now it's like,
awesome.
now it's like everyone's goal is like to get hit like max level, like to
Yeah,
hit like
that's
99
insane.
and
That,
everything.
see
like, that's like it's like you have
upsets me.
It's like you don't have at least like 599. It's like, well, what are you doing with your life?
Ugh, yeah, that
Like,
makes
you
me
just-
sick.
They're like, are you just XP wasting, which is like talk for like standing around and not like constantly training your skills. And
See,
stuff
that
like
wasn't that wasn't the RuneScape that I
It's
remember.
like the expectation of the game now is like if you don't have like 99 and like a stat, like you can't do anything.
I remember being like finding groups of people, like walking around and just talking to people and getting
Yeah.
groups together and just chatting about like other
No,
games. And
like,
you could go on.
So hitting 99 for the people who haven't played RuneScape, hitting 99 in skill requires 13 million experience. Like halfway to 99. Like experience wise,
It's
is
like
92.
90.
It's
Yeah.
92.
you hit 92.
It's
and
92
You're
is halfway to
99.
99.
Yeah.
Halfway there.
It's like you hit level 50, you're like, I'm doing pretty good. 52 is like,
No.
it's like 100,000 experience in that skill. Out of like 13 million. Now the cap is 200 million experience in skill, and people do that. There's a guy who actually got 200 million experience in every skill that was available.
I feel like the RuneScape that I'm talking
He
about.
dropped like 2,000.
Everybody was totally cool, being like,
He dropped a shit ton of time in the game. But,
you know, low level, just kind of goofing off and fighting
Yeah.
things. And
but I mean, like, that's what people who play the game, there's so many people that have hit like 90 and like max level and all their skills that like now what they do is they try to hit like that 200 mil cap. And it's just like, you literally gain no value out of having more experience than 13 million. It's like, what are you doing with your life?
Number 3, favorite game of all time, is Persona 4 Golden.
Really?
Huh?
I've never played any Persona game other than Persona 4 Golden.
Play Persona 3.
Never played any of them.
Goodbye. I don't know if it holds up.
I got a Vita, and I, like people do, wanted to know what everybody recommended as the game to get for Vita, and unanimously it was Persona 4 Golden. Downloaded it, kind of medium expectations, like, yes, it's going to be a cool RPG or whatever. No. It is like,
I imagine the system is similar to 3, so I can understand where you're getting. Like, it's like a day by day.
it's a day by day. You
Yeah.
don't have, there are not things that the game requires you to do every day,
I will return.
but there's things that it like, you know, if you want to go to like level up a relationship with somebody,
Yeah, it's like,
you can spend a whole day doing that.
I don't know if,
If you
it's.
just
I
wanna
don't know
go-
if it's similar to 3 in the fact that like Persona 3 was the system was like you have a day, you get to decide what you do in the daytime, like the afternoon, and then like you have like your nighttime experience where you can gain like combat experience.
Yeah, it
and
was,
then you can either do that or not. Like
Yeah.
skip that.
and the story was so good. It was a murder mystery.
Yeah.
The characters were like probably the most realized. Like, you really felt like they were actual people.
Yeah.
More than any game that I've ever played. And the combat was really fun. And the idea of like collecting different personas and like
Yeah.
leveling them up, and you could combine them, which has got
Oh, that was the sweet part.
that was super
I don't.
in depth.
I don't know how the Personas in 4 worked, but in Persona 3, they're all based off like mythological backgrounds.
There's a lot of that.
Like, and like they're like diverse. I mean, of course they're focused on Japan. Like, you have things from like Shintoism, Buddhism, and then you
Mhm.
also have like Norse and all like your other ones. And there's something cool about mythology, like just seeing like the different gods and like the different characters that have actions in them, and you like see these personas that are based on them, and you're like, I didn't know this about this.
Yeah.
But like every time you learn something about mythological stuff, for me, I'm just like, this is cool. Like I like that. Like this is what people think about.
Yeah, it was really cool that every dungeon corresponded with a different character, like their dark desires and stuff.
Yeah.
And so you got to learn about the characters that you were interacting with by like getting into their like subconscious.
Yeah.
It was really fun. And there's a
It's like Psychonauts.
yeah, it's kind of like that.
Dude, so I never played through the whole game.
Good game. There's
I got like halfway.
something about Persona 4 though, like the art style and the animations. Like when you do a group attack and stuff, and like the splash screen that comes up when you do that, and the music is like 10 out of 10.
You love JoJo.
The cool thing about Persona that I found was it's this very dualistic component where it's like half of it is like it feels very natural, very much like real life, like you're
Grounded
daytime.
Yeah.
Like you're walking through, you're like going through your school life or whatever it is you're doing, and you're just like, this is how people live.
Yeah. In
Really
Japan.
live.
It was
and
very
then like
much like a just
then like your
Japanese
nighttime
culture.
combat is like this is like the crazy wacky side of
Yeah.
Japan that everyone sees but like doesn't actually do.
Yeah, the cutscenes were outstanding. Like
Yeah.
it's real anime cutscenes.
It's like half like super realistic, like this just feels natural, like this is how people are, and then the other half is like this is outlandish and crazy, like this is not how people are. This is just like super cool though.
There's with Persona 5 coming out on Valentine's Day of next year,
That's
I have the game pre-ordered already, but I feel like
Comes out Valentine's Day.
yeah, I feel like
February 14th.
I feel like I'm not going to play anything else. Like when I get it, I'm just gonna
Is it coming on PS4?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I'll actually get that.
blow through it.
It looks the trailer.
Yeah,
It
I
looks-
mean those
did you
games are
watch
like S tier production quality.
Yeah,
I watched the trailer
Anything out of this.
and then
is
I
like
went
that.
back. I don't actually know that is the fifth one produced by Atlas?
Mhm.
yes,
Okay, I just remember on the
They're all
trailer. It
Atlas.
didn't really like on the trailer for 3 and 4 like it's like Atlas. On the trailer for
Yeah, you used to have
5,
a cat, right? Did it used to be a cat?
I don't know.
Am I losing my goddamn mind?
mm-hmm.
Okay.
But for 5 it didn't say Atlas, I don't think, on the trailer.
I think I'm thinking of a Toei animation with the cat with the. It's like the Three Musketeers cat.
Yeah.
And Persona 4
But
gives
the
you
trailer
so
for
much.
5 it was just like bam, here's like an experience, and like 4 was like kind of like went through it real quick, and like 3 was like kind of went through it real quick.
Yeah, but Persona 4 Golden really makes you like appreciate a company that is like, okay, our vision is that
I'm
we're
just
gonna
saying,
make
it's like one of those series. Like a lot of times when you play games, you're like, dude, this game was awesome. I can't wait for like number 2 or number 3, and then like sometimes you get 2 and 3, and you're just sitting there like, they try to do too much, or like this is just like they like dumbed it down, like made it quick. Like wow, it's like the original expansions felt really good, and then like the later ones, it's just like, man, they just like try to include too much. With Persona, it looks like as it gets like further along, it looks like they're doing even better. Like as they get along.
they're figuring the formula
I think
out
with WoW,
Yeah.
more.
they
The formula's like getting more unique and like better, and
Yeah.
just like really feeling good.
with WoW they missed the point of why people played WoW, and they missed the point of why people liked it.
Yeah.
They made it into like a video game experience when it should have just been a social experience, like it was in the beginning.
I kind of feel like WoW was doomed to go down the path it is. Not necessarily just because that's the decisions they made, but just because of the nature of MMOs. Like, our generation was very much people who were embedded in these MMOs and what made them so popular, but we hit this point in our lives where, like, you and me,
Diablo
like
2.
all 3 of us.
Diablo 2?
Yeah, that should have been on the list.
I should
But
have
all 3 of us, we have so many responsibilities now that it's just hard to sit down and say, I'm gonna raid 5 hours,
Yeah.
5 days a week.
That's
Like,
not
you just can't
happening
do it. You can't do it.
I
Dude.
played Persona 4 Golden on easy mode specifically for that reason. I was afraid. I was nervous getting into it. I was like,
Time
I know how
commitment is a
long this
serious
game
issue
is.
now.
So I played on easy, and it's I was fine with it. I was totally fine just playing the story.
A
You
lot
know?
of our top 5 nostalgia experiences are like these 60, 70, 80-hour experiences, and it's like, for us sitting here now, it's like a game comes out, it's like, 80-hour experience, like,
That's exactly
ooh.
what the only game
Ooh,
I
I
played
don't
recently
know.
is Overwatch for like
Yeah, it's like
an hour on time.
it's like, we want to enjoy this experience.
Actually, no!
But it's just hard.
I need to go. Are you going to the bathroom?
I'm just looking at how long we're at. So we're at an hour and a half, so we need to wrap this up.
Really?
Damn.
Well, we need to keep the ball rolling.
I actually have played a game recently and I beat it. Deadbolt. Did you ever see that game?
Uh-uh.
You ever see that game?
Mm-mm.
It's made by the same guy who did Risk of Rain.
Oh, okay.
If I had to compare it to anything, it would be a 2D Hotline Miami set in the Undead realm. So you play as the Reaper, but you can use any weapons you want to, like a silent shotgun. And the whole thing is you bust open the door and you swarm a clubhouse of like vampires or zombies or skeletons. They all have their personal
Yeah.
traits.
Is it fun?
It's sweet. The music is ballin'.
Alright.
Ballin'.
Number 2.
Got sidetracked.
Surprised none of y'all said that. Super Mario 64.
It's close.
Dude, it was up there.
It's close.
It's a game that I can go back to.
I think
It
I've
feels
watched that
like
game, but
when
not
you're.
played it.
It's like at Christmas time when you sit down and you're like by the fire and you're like wrapped up in a blanket, you're drinking hot cocoa. That's what Super Mario 64 is for me. It's like just like.
You know what did a really...
I feel exactly. Like I know what I'm doing. I know where to go. I know like the ins and outs of the game. But it feels so good when you're playing it that you don't care that you've played it 100 times.
Yeah.
and I recently played it on 3DS again, which didn't do it justice because the most egregious thing about it was that you had to hold the run button, which is just really, really obnoxious for a game that you need to run like the whole time. But when I remember Christmas morning going opening presents at my granddad's house,
Yeah.
and I remember getting an N64, and I remember putting that game in and flipping the switch, and I vividly remember where the TV was, where Elliot was, where the whole family was behind us, because our family is huge.
Yeah.
So there was 50 people watching, and we flipped the switch, and everybody went, I remember that, because the first thing that popped up was this 3D Mario face.
Hello.
And everybody gasped, and we're like, look at what's on the TV right now. Look at that game.
We were all like, holy shit. Because this was like one of the first like real like 3.
When you can manipulate his face.
Yeah.
And I remember just, it was magic playing that game. Like booting it up and being able to, you jump out of the pipe, he flies around you, whatever, and then it's like, go.
Yeah, and you're like
go. And you're like, where? What do I mean, do I like...
You're like, there's like not just straight.
Yeah, I can run this way and that way and behind me.
Well, what's behind me? I think we did that first, and then we jumped in the ocean area before we even did anything.
Yeah, and we climbed in a bunch of trees and before you even go up to the castle. Yeah. But then the game got even better as an adult because you can manipulate the game, but not break it. You can break it in some places, but like...
Degree.
But for example, me and my college roommate would speedrun the game, and we got so good at it we could beat it in like 18 minutes because you could grab the bunny and like get through the door, and then you could do the jumping glitch up the stairs, and you just like
boss.
And you can get right through to the top staircase. But it just, to this day, I don't think any game handles as well as it handles. I just think it handles, and it feels
the controls
perfect.
Do feel really good.
Perfect.
The biggest complaint that you can have with that game is the cameras.
It's sometimes it's
that's
atrocious.
Like the single only complaint you could ever have with the game.
And that makes sense because they were still figuring the game out and figuring out how does a 3D camera work in a 3D space. But they even made context for the camera. Like, how many games ever to this day have made the camera have context in the world?
It was like, this is why you can't turn the camera.
Yeah, you can't turn the camera because
he can't go there.
He can't go there. And then you would walk up to the mirror and you'd see him behind you with a video camera.
Yeah.
Like, no other game has had the... It just figured out exactly what the world was, and it built it. And it's like, here's the world, and there's context for everything and why it's there. And to this day, like, the Boo level, the Haunted Mansion...
It's one of those games where you're like, how can they top this? And they came with Mario Galaxy, and you're like, there's no way this can be as good. And it really was.
Yeah, Mario Galaxy 2 is one of my
Galaxy
honorable
games
mentions.
Are surprisingly good.
Galaxy 2 is one of my honorable mentions. It's nearly flawless.
Never played them.
It's nearly flawless.
Dude,
Before I get to one, I'll recap. So Patrick's top 5: Minecraft, Super Mario Bros., Dark Souls, Ocarina of Time, Tetris, Elliot's Donkey Kong Country, Melee, WoW, Monster Rancher 2. That's a sleeper hit. That's a surprise. Dark Souls 1. And so far, my top 5 has been Smash Bros., RuneScape, Persona 4 Golden, Super Mario 64. Some of my honorable mentions: Legend of Dragoon, Sonic Adventure, Sims 1, Chrono Trigger, which I just played for the first time last month, Power Stone 2, Diddy Kong Racing, and Bloodborne. I would put Bloodborne over every Dark Souls game. As far as what I prefer in the combat system and how it lets you, it encourages you to, it encourages you to
just
be aggressive.
Swing wildly.
Yeah, which is more my play style and less of like blocking and parrying and stuff.
It's like, don't think about what you're doing. Just go ham.
Just let the
blood flow.
Just go ham.
And I love like Lovecraftian kind of places. And
that's cool.
The game was so atmospheric. Everywhere you went, it was just oozing atmosphere all over the place. So I'd pick Bloodborne above Dark Souls.
I think
number one favorite game of all time. Do you want to guess?
I'm holding my breath.
No guesses?
Got nothing.
Uncharted 2.
Oh, I should have known.
Of course.
I should have known.
I have the Nathan Drake statue. I have the Uncharted vinyl collection.
I should have known.
I even have
Yeah,
his
I don't know
coin.
what I
And
thought
I have
about
his
that before.
I have the coin from the 4th game, and I also have his necklace that he wears.
I was actually thinking about that before I got here. I was like, man, like the Uncharted. I was like thinking about like my top 5. I was like, I wonder what's gonna be on Greg's. I mean, like Uncharted is definitely gonna be on there. I wonder which one.
I don't know why I blanked.
I don't know why I didn't think about it like just now. But
Let
like,
me tell
I was
you.
totally
Let me
thinking
tell you
about
my
it today.
experience with the Uncharted games. So, well, first of all, if anybody knows, if somebody knows me, one thing they know about me is that I'm obsessed with Indiana Jones. I've got posters, crocheted Indiana Jones. I've got all of the Blu-rays. I've got the hat. I've got everything. An authentic replica whip.
You got his face tattooed on your ass, like I don't.
Something about something about that character has always just kind of been what
Harrison Ford's.
I've got
biography.
a Harrison Ford statue.
His biography.
So Uncharted is like, to me, what Indiana Jones games should be. And that they influence the
I
Uncharted
can see
series a lot.
Uncharted as basically like the video game version of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, with a lot more blood killing.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, it's a video game.
so-
What do you expect?
I was watching maybe X-Play or something on TV. I don't remember exactly where I heard about it, but they gave Uncharted 2 like nearly a perfect score. And I had a PS3, and I was like, you know what, I'm looking for a new game. That game got like super good reviews. I'll just check out Uncharted 2. And I made sure that I could get into that game without playing the first one, because I had not played the first one. And I bought it for $60, came home, played it for like 5 hours straight, beat it in a weekend, beat the whole game in like a weekend. And to tell you how much I liked it, the credits started to roll when the game was over.
Started weeping.
And literally, John was next to me in college, and I said, hey, I'm going to watch all of these credits. I'm going to read like every single person's name, because they just made the greatest game of all time. That's what I like said to John. And I literally sat there and watched the credits roll. And I watched and I read people's names. That's how much I liked the game. And I was like, I'm going to give them credit for what they did. And I'm going to like sit here and enjoy the credits. And so then Elliot bought me Uncharted 1. And I played through that. It's obviously got like stuff about it. It was much more like unpolished than the second game.
Yeah.
And then Uncharted 3 I absolutely love. And Uncharted 4 is probably... So when I wrote this list, I put
How did you decide?
Uncharted
not to
2/4.
Okay.
And I couldn't decide which one, but I think Uncharted 2 meant more to me when I played through it. But Uncharted 4 is probably going to surpass it as my like favorite Uncharted game someday, but I just played through it and it's still kind of fresh. But Uncharted 2 is a nearly flawless game from start to finish, and that's my number 1. Which I don't think either of you have even played Uncharted 2.
I haven't played any of them.
Nope.
I actually have. I'm in the midst of unpacking and trying to figure out where I'm going to put all my stuff, and I actually have Uncharted 2 sitting on my desk.
For PS3?
Yeah.
Do you have a PS3?
I do. I have the old one that...
You need to play... You can play through Uncharted 2 without playing 1.
Yeah, I will. I'll just skip 1.
And whenever you play 2, once you play 2, I'd say skip 3 if you don't have a whole lot of time, and then jump into 4.
I have 3, but I can play it
Yeah.
eventually.
I encourage anybody who has any interest at all in kind of story narrative action games, and they don't care about... I mean, it's the most linear game of all time, but that's intended. And in some aspects, like open world games, like GTA and all these... I get more worn out on that kind of thing because I feel like
There's a certain
it's
degree.
overwhelming.
There's a certain level where it becomes overwhelming. Like, when you have too many options or, like, too many potential endings, I hit this point where I'm just, like, I almost, like, I overthink, like, how I need to get through to, like, experience all the game. That I almost hit this point where, like, I just kind of stop playing because I'm not sure how to experience and, like, get all the value out of the game.
And I totally see where people are coming from when they're like, Uncharted 2 is just on rails and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah. But so is a movie. But so is, like, a TV show. And
yeah, like, I'm sitting here, like, I haven't played the game, so I can't make, like, a... We've talked about this before. Like, I can't really make my opinion because I don't know. But was like, it's easy to say, like, it's easy for me to sit here and be like, I don't like games on rails. But then I sit there and I'm like, I like Fury.
Yeah.
Fury is totally a game on rails.
Totally on rails.
So, yeah. It's not that games can't be good on rails. It's that I think it's harder for games to be good on rails. Like, Final Fantasy, what was it? 14?
That's the online one.
Which one was the Lightning one?
12.
12.
That
Lightning
one,
Returns.
that one was awful.
12 and 12 too.
One of the big things about Final Fantasy games is like, yeah, you're on rails for a while, but eventually you hit this point where you can just do what you want. 12 was just like, nope, it's an RPG, but you literally just go straight.
Really?
Yeah, it's really disappointing.
But Uncharted 2's the way that you can move, like climbing and stuff, nothing felt like that at the time.
Oh, yeah.
There was Infamous, which felt really cool.
I was going to say, there's a lot of sandbox games that are like it now, I think. Tomb Raider, the more recent one where Lara Croft didn't look like the original Lara Croft. I forget what it was. Like, she was like a younger Lara Croft. I don't remember what it was called.
The new one?
Well, there's Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then there's just Tomb Raider.
I think it was just Tomb Raider, where she's like on the island.
Yeah, that's Tomb Raider.
That one, I think like the climbing system stuff like that was very, like, throwback to Uncharted.
Yeah, it was very heavily influenced from Uncharted, and I enjoy games. I actually have, because I'm I'm almost 30, and I have a full-time job, and I have a wife, and all these things that I need to like do in my life. So I can't commit anymore to like.
Just give that all up.
I may, yeah. But I can't commit to like crazy open world like MMOs and stuff anymore that don't really have like a starter in. And so things like Uncharted where I can sit down and be like, okay, if I play this for 10 hours, I'm guaranteed to get to the end and see the final scene, and I beat it.
And I think that's what like MMOs like WoW have tried to do.
Yeah.
It's like people like you and me, like how you said, I can't commit to stuff like that. They have tried to dumb things down so you can. They try to gate progression, so I think that's the biggest thing. Is like games, like MMOs trying to gate progression, so people are like, I can't sink 80 hours in a week, but I can play like 10 or 15. Like, well, everyone can only progress 15 hours a week, so that one person doesn't feel like they're way behind. That's what's wrong with these games.
We're gonna go really fast on this last. That was our top 5. That was everybody's top 5. An hour and a half of us talking about.
I'm tired as fuck.
Do you smell that?
Like, did you fart?
Not this time. But it does smell like shit.
It's high stakes.
High shits.
We're gonna go through high stakes really fast because this video is pushing 2 hours.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
So Rare is not excited. Well done.
Let's not do the in-between bullshit.
We can do in-between bullshit.
I don't like the in-between bullshit.
You don't have to do.
You do what you do, but I'll do my in-between bullshit.
Why don't we just do like
Persona 5?
Medium well.
Medium.
Okay. For Honor.
Medium.
If I know that like you guys are going to get that game, then I'm well done. But if you're not planning on getting that game,
I think we should
like
get it, and I think we should all be on the same team.
Like, that would
definitely
be fun.
Yeah.
I love sword game. I love swords, and so I saw that and I was just like, it looks good.
So what are you? You're medium.
I'm medium because for me, multiplayer PvP games are kind of like a hit or miss. Like, it's hard for me to get into them. It's hard for me to devote the time and like really start getting into a game.
Attack on Titan for PS4.
Rare.
Really? Oh,
that
I'm
game,
super.
That game just looks bad.
No, I think it looks great. Skyrim HD.
Rare. I already experienced the world. I'm done with it.
Rare? I don't even know if I'm gonna get it.
Oh, I've never played Skyrim.
My Skyrim experience was... I played something like a couple dozen hours in it, but I did one quest in the main story and never touched the main quest again. So I like did everything else I could.
It's so.
And then I didn't want to play that game anymore.
It's like you play like the main story quest, and then you like walk 5 feet. They give you like a side quest, and then it feels like your main quest, and you do that side quest, and you hit a different side quest. Just like you hit this like line of side quests that are like the main path's over here, and you're just like you just keep going the wrong way in terms of like finishing the storyline.
Am I the only person that just like really hates side quests and find them tedious? I think there's got to be
I'm
a better
okay
way.
with side quests, but like Skyrim, it's just like
There's got to be
too
a
many.
better way to do gameplay than just like time filler quest.
yeah.
Like I don't want to go find that guy's fucking lost chicken. That's not what I'm looking for. in
Skyrim,
gameplay.
their side quests, they don't feel impact. A lot of them don't feel impactful.
Man, the panel was negative today.
Well, it's not that Skyrim's a bad game. Skyrim is like a game that's like, I like the concept. I feel like it's not. It's too. The scope is too big and not well crafted.
If that's coming out on PC, and it works for VR, well done.
Ooh, VR.
Because Fallout 4
Dude, what about
next
VR
year.
Morrowind?
Fallout 4 VR next year. They've already announced it, and like they are actually
I will-
making it for VR.
I will bump up if I can play that.
Because I've never played Fallout 4. I was waiting for VR.
Cook me up to medium on that one.
All right, Patrick. I don't know if you got a chance to watch this trailer yet. Death Stranding.
I did not.
Elliot, Death Stranding.
It's well done from me.
You're well done. You're well
I
done.
love
Death
Kojima games. I'm a Kojima whore.
Oh, this
I'm
is the
ready.
VR game.
Yeah,
It's not officially VR, but
Oh.
if I had to guess,
I
it
think
would
you
be.
were here when the Death Stranding trailer came on. It was Norman Reedus kind of walking
It's the oil baby thing.
Kojima's new game, and there's like floating figures in the sky.
Norman Reedus fetus on the oil planet. That's
I
what the game is
trust-
called. That's what the game is
From
called.
someone who
Norman
knows
Reedus
nothing.
fetus on the oil
Someone who
planet.
knows nothing. It's like Norman Reedus, oil baby on a planet. And I'm just like, what the fuck?
Norman
are you guys
Reedus
talking about?
fetus on the oil planet.
Norman Reedus fetus on the oil planet is the name of this game.
Yes.
Death Stranding is Kojima's new game that's in his new studio post Metal Gear Solid 5.
Shrek 2020 XX. This is my swamp edition.
All right.
So that's it. That's the show. Now you have to give your signature sign off.
This is fucking stupid. Just bad.